So take this away. That's one less problem. That shouldn't be a problem now, though. YouTube is receiving. Okay, that should work. Let's see. Still acting kind of weird. Anything open that shouldn't. So let's kick this out. Okay. I'll just knock them out just to see if that's the case. Okay, it's moving smoothly now. Okay, that was probably the issue. Wait, before I even go any more further than that, let me see if that's the case. Let me hit this button. Now will it act crazy? Yep, we can't go more than 3. Ah, that's annoying. But okay, whatever. Fuck kick anyway. This is excellent. Stream is excellent, he said. Okay, there we go. What is extension path there? Okay. What is that connection? Always even? I hope not. Okay, that's TikTok is working, it's moving smoothly. Just we can go. Twitch is moving just fine. I think YouTube's moving just fine. Let me see. Now, that's it. 1, 2, 3, open all those. And open that one back. Where is it gone? Alright. Alright, guys. Sorry about that. Now, we need to get some certain things done. It was part of the trend that my mod started, so I'm trying to take part in that. Okay. Make sure everything's in place. Okay, so let's see. Going up. Oh. Okay. Whew. I always have to be doing a bunch of things. All the time. Always doing a bunch of things. Okay, let's go here. Make this big. Okay, that's getting soon. Alright. So while I listen to Sufferance, I will be working on the animatic. Alright, so let's see. So I might put this on the reaction channel. I don't know if that's still going to be a thing, given how YouTube is. But this is Sufferance. He is for those who don't know, he is a manga commentator. Commentates on certain manga that he likes or enjoys, or gives his opinion. And I tend to like his opinion. He tends to explain it in a way that seems very digestible. So I'm going to play this, and we're going to enjoy this. Hopefully you can enjoy it just as much as I do. But if you don't, that's perfectly fine. Hold on. Hello. So let's play this. Oh, let's make sure you guys can see it, because sometimes. Okay, there it is. Alright, so.
Writing and drawing a story on a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or bi-monthly schedule is ridiculous. The amount of hard work and effort that goes into producing those chapters is insane. So of course you have a lot of help. You have an editorial department, you have a lot of assistants that you can hire, you have a lot of things that can alleviate a lot of stress and to streamline the process a lot more. This would be considered the norm. But what if I were to tell you that there is only one manga that does not do any of this, and somehow it is still officially published, officially recognized, and very much successful? This manga is genuinely one of a kind for its story, its artistry, its brilliance, and the author that is creating it, but also because of how it's actually created. Let me tell you about it. Choujin X is a manga by Ishida, the author of Tokyo Ghoul. I've talked about this story quite a bit. It is impeccable. I absolutely love this manga. I love the story. I love the artwork. I think this is Ishida's magnum opus, which might sound pretty daring to say when you have something like Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul Re, but there's a really good reason for it. This author has the genuine freedom to create Choujin X however he wants. And because of that, I've seen stuff in this story that he would not have touched in Tokyo Ghoul. Narratively, for his overarching story, his general ideas, and even his character work, to its artistry, how it's designed, how it's visualized, the uniqueness in each aspect is actually ridiculous. And the reason for that is because he has no help. See, Choujin X is different. It is a very weird step for the industry, but one that I think could be rather beneficial. Choujin X has no editors, it has no assistants. From our understanding and interviews with Ishida, it has no help of the creation, of the art, of the writing, of the reading process.
I know he's been on Choujin X for a good while. Choujin X or Choujin X for a good while. I've been meaning to read this manga, but every time I put it off, it just never seems like it comes in my fruition to do so. Every time. Let me do something real quick, guys. I just realized something. Hello. Turn the speakers. Good. And as for hello. Okay. Turn this down.
Ever. That means the only person to touch this manga, to create this manga, to visualize this manga is Ishida himself. And now what does that actually mean though? Because no other manga does this, because it's not technically viable. No business wants to produce this level of freedom for their authors, which sounds ridiculous, but that is the industry. So why give Ishida his freedom? Why still officially publish him? He's writing it, drawing it, and creating it almost like it's self-published, but he has the backing of a legitimate magazine. The same magazine that One Punch Man is published in, which is a digital magazine. So why? A part of me believes, which is kind of copium, that the industry is looking at ways to give authors more creative flexibility and freedom, and if they are strong enough authors, they will be able to prove themselves with that level of freedom. Realistically, that is one way to look at it. Is that actually the case though? We don't know. All we can do is look at what Choujin X and Zoe is providing us and go from there. Evaluate the things that are coming across and not coming across. And what can I say? I think the decision to write and draw and create the story this way has been one of the most unique reading experiences of all time. Unironically, there is so many layers to how this process works as a consumer. So let me kind of break it down for you. You don't know when you will get a chapter. You don't know how much is going to be in that chapter. You don't know how it's artistically going to look in that chapter. There's no consistency for this manga, and the funniest thing about the manga industry is that it's entirely built on consistency. A weekly story, you expect 18 to 21 pages of content.
I guess things are changing then. It was in the manga world that consistency may not be a thing. It's just more about if it can hold eyeballs. That might be a thing. That might be a thing.
Every single week, which massively reduces the amount of artistic and writing creativity that can go within it. There is boundaries, limitations, expectations, etc. But you become consistent to that. Sunday or Monday, depending on where you live, you wake up and you read the weekly Shonen Jump chapters. Every single Tuesday or Wednesday, you read the weekly Kodansha chapters. If there's a bi-weekly story, you read that. If there's a monthly, etc., etc. It is a consistent, scheduled thing, and it works in their favor. The reason some of these manga are the most popular to begin with is because they're consistent. You might not have ever thought about that reader experience, but it's very fine-tuned. There's a lot of editorial work, there's a lot of assistant work, there's a lot of help going in to produce this amount of content this regularly, and that's perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with having assistants, there's nothing wrong with having editorial work, there's nothing wrong with having editors actually help and decide the type of narrative or story you're trying to tell. But what if I were to tell you that Zoe with Choujin X, that does not adhere to any of those standards, actually produces more content? Very often,
Hello, some guy. Chapters. How goes it? How are you? Hope you guys are doing well. For those who are coming in, hello. For those who don't know what's going, I'm working on the Animatic as we listen to some and react to some anime stuff. So for those who don't know, this is Sufferins, the guy who's talking. For those who are hearing it, he's explaining and giving his opinion about this manga. My manga, called Choujin X, or Choujin X. I think I'm saying it right. I'm not totally sure, but that's what that is. So, yeah. Hold on. Oh, are you? Okay. Hold on. Let me see. He is caught up. I expect no less from Bry. He's always on that. He's always on top of things when it comes to anime stuff. But you can't hear me? Something's wrong with this mic, probably. This mic's probably broken. May have to fix this. I don't know. Let me see. I don't know. Why? You guys can't hear me. Right. Can you hear me fine? Did I sound too low? Let me see here. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's your TV. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think. I don't know. I don't know if you're low-key trolling. Can't tell. Let me see. Just make sure. Oh. Excuse me. Let me see. Microphone. I think the same. I'm pretty sure the same. Okay, hold on. Maybe I should turn up the game like this. Ah, there we go. Maybe that might work. Maybe. I think that's much better. There we go. I don't have to do much on that. I don't know what else to tell you. Anyway, let's play this. Alright.
That have the combined content of like 6 to 8 weekly chapters, and they're released very close to each other. And while it's not about the amount of content that comes across in the chapter, it's the amount of content that he wants to tell, and that is the biggest difference when it comes to the reading experience of Choujin X. Because there's no time that he has to publish, there's no amount that he has to adhere himself to. If he wants to make a short chapter, he can.
Yeah, I got you.
To make a very long chapter, and what this creates is a unique reading structure and a very interesting writing structure. Now you are writing and drawing to the length of what you want to showcase rather than the length of the 18 to 21 pages a week. You actually have the room to tell what you want to tell in a singular chapter. Whereas on a weekly, you might have to cut that in quarters, or you might have to cut it in half, or you might have to not show a lot of things if you want to end it on that chapter. Endless amount of restrictions for the weekly experience, and it's very impressive how authors can make it work. I want to reiterate, this isn't a who does it better. Typical manga authors that are scheduled and under contract do a lot of work, a phenomenal amount of endurance to produce that amount of content that regularly. Sui Ishida also knows this. He'd done it for 10 plus years.
I got you.
Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul Re, a almost 400 chapter work, which is most likely the reason why he's writing Choujin X the way that he is. I'm just more surprised that they've actually given him the level of freedom that he desires to create the story without any help, to not have any assistants or editors or whatever to provide aid, and just to produce content the way that he wants to, artistically, narratively, lengthwise, pacing-wise, whenever he wants. You might think it sounds ridiculous, but he has proved over the last 4.5 years that it works, that it is one of the most beautiful ways to create a story and one of the most interesting ways to read a story. You might think,
I am working on an animatic for my mod. Trying to get this done before the 30th. So I'm taking part in her trend. But right now I'm looking for references on Bumblebee right quick. I'm looking at the right one. So, let's see, okay. I'm doing a Transformers like animatic. So I'm trying to look for references on Bumblebee's head.
oh, you have to wait so long for a chapter, or you don't know when it's coming, yada yada. Surprisingly, Ishida is incredibly consistent. He may not have a legitimate schedule, but he is very regular, and the amount that he actually posts in those chapters is way more than a lot of weekly and monthly stories, and that is because he actually has a healthier schedule in comparison to others. Because he can create the story the way he wants and can release it whenever he wants,
That's what they should do with majority of most mangaka. They should let them, if they're like the lead writer or whatever, they should be able to like have a consistency of based on when they can release it, when it's ready. I think that makes sense instead of forcing them, because that's when mistakes are made or health issues start popping up.
he ends up creating a lot more content, and that's the thing with a lot of these authors. If they were able to take breaks, if they were able to create the story however they wanted, you would still get a beautifully told story. You'd probably get even more of it. I don't think you'd be waiting any longer. These people are hungry to tell their story. If there is anything to take from Choujin X and its ability to produce the beautiful story that it's telling,
Yes,
the
it is.
different amount of artistry that Sui Ishida has evolved into, like his style has transformed so dramatically, but also how he visualizes certain things within chapters is
Hello.
When he's talked about Choujin X and its creative process in interviews, he seems genuinely happy. Like he's able to produce so much, even days where he's done so much work already, and he's able to live a life, able to go out and have fun or work out or play games or garner inspiration from places. He even live streams time to time creating the chapters. authors. There's so much more personality behind him now compared to his earlier days. And it's not to say that
It's what I
every
do.
author would have
It's
to
what
have
I
that
do.
personality or have to live
Hell.
stream or have to do this or that. You know, everyone has their own schedule and what works best for them. A lot of authors work really well within the comfort of restriction, right? But being able to take breaks and having a level of freedom to your creativity, I think, is something the industry should seek, something the industry should evolve towards. And while I don't expect this max exodus of Choujin X like stories to happen, I wouldn't be mad if a lot of more authors tried to do it. Horikoshi, the author of My Hero Academia, I think would be a
I got you,
beautiful
bro. I
example
appreciate it
and a
very much.
massive
So,
step if he were to do a story like
I
Choujin X.
appreciate it
If
very
he
much.
wanted
So,
editors and
thank
assistants,
you.
of course, that's perfectly okay. But able to create a story at his own pace and release it whenever he wants. For now, these type of free stories are not going to get the mainstream public attention. Choujin X has been pushed within the background quite a bit, but because it is Sue Ishida, the relevancy is still there. It's still selling. And it's not going to sell like the big dogs and Weekly Shonen Jump because they are so consistent. But I think if they started to push more authors down this route, especially more experienced authors that don't want to dive back into maybe a weekly publication or a monthly, etc., give them a bit.
I think that's like really like demanding. Like a weekly publication every week. I have to drop a book every week. Oh my god, that's something I'm afraid of to ever do. That's why when I asked you guys yesterday, the other day, if would you read a manga if I made one, or at least a one shot? You guys said yes, which is encouraging, but like, that's crazy. I don't know if I could do that. One chapter per week, and like, what's the average like pages? Like 70 pages? I would say like 70 pages is like what, a whole book, or about 100. That's crazy. Let me see. I really want to study next year because I've been job the whole year, and now I'm kind of done waiting. I just want to know your feelings of studying online versus campus. Job hunting, I meant. Like, are you studying or job hunting? He says studying. I don't think that was a typo. Huh.
Bit of freedom, let them create the story that they want to make and have a little place for them, the exact same way that Choujin X produces its story.
Oh shit. Okay, that was the end of that. Sorry about that. I wasn't paying attention to sufferance. So that was sufferance, and he did a great job explaining that whole Choujin X thing. So I might put this on the reaction channel. I haven't done that in a good while, so I might bring that back. It seems like you guys kind of like when I do reactions, so like, I don't know. We'll see. So let me see here. Art is a video game, and here's the cheat codes. Ooh, this sounds interesting. This is from Ory Days, or am I saying Ory Days right? It's a VTuber. They have 226,000 followers, and they have. Wait, what? You said, that'll be cool. The AI voice on your draw vids is kind of off-putting. You can hear the AI voice? Because only when they speak is when is in my ear. I don't know if you guys can actually hear that. In my headphones. I want to study teaching. Okay. Wait 1 second on that. I'm gonna put this up here. This seems very interesting. On what?
Play a game for 8 hours straight, but struggle to draw for just 30 minutes.
Okay, pause that. Okay. So here. Let's see. There we go. Wait, make that a bit bigger. So small. I'll stretch that out. Got it. And then put it up there. There we go. I think that's a bit easier. Hello. Alright, so like I said, this is Ory Days. I don't know. Oh yeah, don't worry, I'll fix him up. Um, yeah, I'll clean them up. But yeah. So this is Ory Days. They're about to show us how to use the cheat codes in art. Now, it's not AI or anything. I don't think so. I think they're actually giving a tutorial. So this will be interesting. I would like to see this. I had this ready and showing up. So let's see where this takes us today. Hello. Hello.
Without feeling frustrated.
Bored or overwhelmed? The thing is, drawing feels hard not because you lack motivation, but because you're not playing the game right. In this video, I'll help you understand what the game of art actually is, how to take the powerful mechanics games use to make them fun and addictive and apply it to drawing instead, and give you the cheat codes to get ahead. So, if you've been stuck in the art journey, it's time to change your game and finally hit start. By the way, quick thanks to Printful for kindly sponsoring today's video. If you're interested in turning your art into custom merch you can sell without having to worry about upfront costs, check out the link below. So video games are what's known as a finite game. They have clear quests, a clear path, and an ultimate goal. Beat the final boss, save the world, and you win. But art isn't like that. There's no final boss, no defined endpoint, and no set quests that you have to complete. There's no achievement that you can get that tells you you've won art. This is what's known as an infinite game. Whereas in a finite game, the goal is to beat the game, and you lose when you don't win. In an infinite game like art, the goal is to simply keep playing the game and get a bit better at it each time.
Game
And
theory.
The only way you lose is by quitting. But here's the hard part. When there's no glowing quest markers telling you where you should go, no shiny rewards for doing anything, it's incredibly easy to lose motivation, feel stuck, and just stop playing altogether. But the good news is we can take the same psychological principles games use to make them addictive and fun and apply it to art to make drawing rewarding and enjoyable like our favorite game. To do so, we first need to understand that there are two main kinds of motivations that drive everything we do, including gaming and art. The first kind of motivation is the type you get when you find yourself completing tasks in a game just to get gems to roll the gacha, or logging in every day so you don't lose your streak. In art, it's when you're drawing for likes, followers, or praise. This is called extrinsic motivation, where you do something for some kind of external reward or to avoid punishment. While it works in the short term, the problem with this type of motivation is that your wanting to do the thing is tied directly to getting these external things which aren't under your control. And if the reward were to disappear, so too will your motivation. Research also shows that over-relying on external rewards can actually reduce your natural enjoyment of something, because it shifts your focus from I do this because I love it to I do this because I get something.
Well, that is a basic psychology thing. If something's extended to something that you're doing, it may enhance your wanting to do that thing, but then again, it really depends on the extension. If the extension is something much more like monetary gain, like okay, so say you like doing artwork and you've just been doing it as a little kid and you're just doing like artwork for your friends and stuff. Yeah, because like you could be doing this like when you're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you're not doing it for money, you just like it. And then if you get incentivized, like if your parents gave you $2 for every time you make a drawing, you're gonna make more drawings than you would originally make a drawing. Like you might have enjoyment and make a few drawings on your own, but if you're getting incentivized to make, like I give you $2 so you can go get candy, right? You're gonna make more than ever. It could be, but it really takes a special person to like want to do something, and yeah, it takes a special individual to like really want to do something when there is the incentive is either there or not there, or even if the incentive was like if he was there and the incentive came up after, and then for some reason the incentive is gone and you still act as if there wasn't there. It takes a very special individual to do that. So
This is called the over-justification effect, where the reward becomes the reason and the love for the activity fades. Which is why we want to instead lean into the second type of motivation, which is the type you get when you're playing a game simply because it's fun, or exploring the open world because you're curious. In art, it's when you're drawing because you love it, and the process of creating is in itself satisfying. This is called intrinsic motivation, where you do something purely because you enjoy it, or it's meaningful to you. And it's the kind of motivation that helps you stay in the game for years because the game feels
Hold on. It says here, oh, I'm thinking of learning to teaching grade R through 3. I never heard R through 3. That you must be a different country. You was saying R through 3. I never heard R before. In my country, yeah. So I'm sort of teaching all subjects. I also want to learn 2D animation after finishing teaching course. Not straight after, by the way. Okay. So you're wait, let me see. So Gorilla's asking my opinion on teaching in general. So like, okay, you have a goal, what you want. You want to teach, I guess, pre-K through. I was at pre-K. I was like kindergarten to third grade. So you have a set goal, and you want my opinion on just teaching in general. So like, it really matters by like teaching should be something that okay, teaching should be something that should be enjoyed by not only by your students but by yourself. Because if you're not a person who has patience enough, because teaching is it's a long game. You're not supposed to like expect every child to get it on the first try when you're teaching. You like always. This is when I'm teaching my students. The one thing I do is I always have the mindset as if they don't know. I'm never gonna expect them that they do know, and even if they do know, I'm just gonna assume that they know enough. They know just enough, but they know to a degree, but they don't know enough because they're still coming for me for help. So I'm going to not treat them like an idiot, but then again, I'm going to expect them not that they know everything because there's something that they're lacking that they have to come to me and ask me for some type of form of information. So I would first ask them a few questions what they know, and that usually gives me or gives me a form of it conveys to me on what they know and what they don't know. So I don't need to go over certain things unless I ask them like, do you know what this is or do you know what that is? If you don't know, I'll explain it, and if my explanation is too like advanced or my explanation is too like short or it's just not really like grasping, I'll change a different method of like metaphorical or use examples or something like that, or some type of degree. um, but when it comes to teaching, it's a long game of understanding that everyone is not the same shoe. You can't fit the same foot in the same shoe. So, this is why when people come to me and ask me, how long does it take you to learn how to do this, and how long did it take me how long did it take you to do that? Sometimes that question can be extremely pointless because everyone's brain is wired differently. So how that works is like, say for instance you ask me how long did you learn to draw hands. It probably took me like 6 months, but because my brain's wired a specific way, it took me 6 months. But if you're different from me, so like if you were to learn how to draw hands, it might take you 3 weeks. See, that's the thing about art, or virtually anything, but art specifically because it's such a subjective thing, subjective type thing. Um, Everyone's different. People perceive things. It's the saying that we're all in the same building, but we have different point of view, even though we're in the same building looking through the same window. So, if I were to draw hands, it'll take me 6 months. For you, it might take you 3 weeks. For another person, it might take them 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's different. So whenever someone asks this question, they're trying to like measure up as in if how long it will take them compared to me, and they're thinking, okay, if it takes them 6 months, then that may be a good enough time for me to figure it out on my own. When really it might take you just 3 weeks without even realizing it. Now there's a lot of factors that comes in that, maybe age, time, just a lot of things. Like a young person who's like 18 might be able to draw hands because of two things. They have probably more time, or if they don't have a lot of time, they catch on to things because like they're younger, their brains are much younger. So correct. So like that's a possibility. Everyone's different, so that's why when it comes to art, it's different because it's like 2 plus 2. Like if you teach kids 2 plus 2, it shouldn't take them that long to like grasp that because it's literally not a lot. things happening at once. It's literally just, you can use items, you can use your hands, you can use virtually anything. Um, uh, that shouldn't take you 6 months. That should take you like at least 3 days or a week or even less than a month to catch that. So, and how do you feel about studying online and on campus? I don't think there's an issue when learning online. I think the only time online becomes an issue is when you're supposed to, like, I don't understand anything like this. I get this, but I don't get it. I don't get learning online when you're trying to be a mechanic. You get what I'm saying? Like, yes, I'm pretty sure there's books on it and stuff, but I don't think something like mechanic can just be explained in the book. That, I think that's something you just have to learn hands-on and be in, like, have some field experience, because I rarely ever think that any mechanic is just running through a manual book. You know what I'm saying? Compared to someone who's like doing biology, that's a whole different ball game. Like, if you're doing biology, I understand why you should need to read some books, need to understand concepts. Correct. So it's like technical knowledge versus we said qualia or quality knowledge. But like, yeah, I think if you're like a biologist or a political science major or some shit like that, or even business, I think a form of being book smart does come with that. But I think ultimately what trumps that is just being in the field and just watching another like professional do it. Yeah. So like, I just honestly believe that when it comes to it really depends on what you're going for. So like if you're doing like you're not gonna read a book, like this is what, well, I guess some people get this. Some people read a book to understand drawing. I don't really get that, because like you can explain it in a way, I guess. Like use metaphors and examples, but like I feel like that's boring, and my brain is just not wired to read like a book to learn how to draw. I just watch. I think you kind of just get it by just watching. So let's see. What's the thought experiment called Marion the Black and White Room? I think. I'm not too familiar with that. Is that a form of book? I think that's like a novel. But yeah, to answer your question, it really depends on what you're going for. If you're being a psychologist, I can understand. If like I was a psychologist, I went for psychology, so like a psychology major. So like I wanted to be a doctor, but like I saw the writing on the wall and why I didn't go down that path. But like the point I'm saying is this is like if you're being a psychologist or a biologist or something like that. Yeah, you can know history. Like I remember that I had a college course on like the closest thing to an art college course was like we learned Mesopotamian like art stuff, and it was not even drawing, it was just literally pots. The most horrible thing I ever like. It was not horrible like it was hard, it was horrible because it was boring, and it was easy. It was easy, horrible, and boring. That's the most weirdest thing, how a class can be super easy to take, but it'd be fucking boring at the same time. Yeah, that was horrible. We didn't like we didn't watch no videos on it, like how they're made or anything like that. We just had books, and they just taught us about Mesopotamian type books, you know, artists, pottery and stuff like that, and some artifacts, but they never got into like the artistic side of things. They just tell us technically this is from here, this is for this, and that's it. So like that shit was horrible. Like it was like boring. Like this is not art. This is it's hard art. It's history disguised as saying it's art when it's really just history. It was just history. Nothing more. Like it's just item history. That's it.
Worth playing.
So the question then becomes, how can we turn art into a game that we're intrinsically motivated to play all the time? This is where self-determination theory, one of the most proven frameworks in psychology, comes in. It explains what makes an activity, like playing a video game, so satisfying and compelling that we want to keep on doing it, even without external rewards.
Yeah.
According to the theory, we feel intrinsically motivated to do something when 3 certain psychological needs are fulfilled. The first need is competence. competence is feeling that we're improving and gaining mastery at the thing we're doing. Games get this right. Beat a monster, finish a quest, and your experience goes up, you level up, and get new skills. Your character is constantly becoming better and more powerful, and the game provides you with many bars, gauges, and numbers, so you always know how you're doing. But art has none of that. There's no flashy level up screen when you finally understand perspective, no gold star for improving your figure drawing. You're never really sure if or how much you're growing. This is what can cause many artists to quit, because it's easy to feel like you're stuck or failing, even if you're actually on track and doing the right things. Which brings us to our first cheat code. Create your own EXP system. All you need to do are two simple things. The first is to track the time you spend drawing. There's a lot of free time tracking apps out there they can get, and all you need to do is hit start when you draw and stop when you're done. That's it. By tracking the hours you put in, it makes your effort and progress visible, just like an EXP bar in a game. This creates a steady stream of small wins, giving you a clear sense of progress every time you draw, which feeds your need for competence and helps keeps your motivation strong.
Honestly, these type of things are not bad. These gamified these RRL gamified apps are not bad. I think the only time they come off as annoying is when you have to actually get around doing it. I think that's where the biggest problem comes in for most people. It's not really doing it or making it gamified. I think the problem is getting people to actually download the thing and set it up, because a lot of people feel like it's kind of a waste of time. They don't think it's going to work most cases, because some people just really need that, I won't say the word motivation, but they really need that that push, or they need to be in an academic setting to get shit done. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need to be told exactly what to do and have some form of like fire under their ass so they can like get work done. Sometimes it's really, this is why I think in the tech industry, this is why a lot of them tech companies are pulling back away from remote work, because they have come to the conclusion that a lot of people cannot be left by themselves to their own devices to do their job. So what happens is like, what happens is like a lot of them will try to clock in and do like such the bare minimum of work, and then they'll just clock out, or they won't be doing anything that they should be. They could be sleeping past their shift or whatever case may be, and then they start realizing that they're not doing their job, and then they're getting paid. I think they was doing that with Twitter, like before Elon Musk bought Twitter. I think there was a lot of them who was going to the office, and some that was working from home, and they wouldn't even clock in, or if they did clock in, they'll just clock in for a couple of minutes and jump out. Ah, okay. And the issue with that is like, it takes, I think, a very motivated individual to keep that same professional bravado, to keep that same mindset from home and from the workplace, because I don't think a lot of people can do that, because they'll be too happy at the fact that they can just like fuck around and not find out, because they don't have no boss walking over them. Hey, what's up? What's up, guys? What's going on?
The second is to keep an art progress board. For this, you can use an app that lets you add images on a board, or simply create a new folder on your computer, and whenever you finish drawing something, add it in there. Over time, this becomes visual proof of your progress, and you can look back to see how far you've come whenever you need a boost in motivation. Now, in games, you progress only when you succeed. You only move on to the next level once you beat the boss and complete the mission. But in art, it's a bit more complicated, because if you're not careful, success will grow your ego but not your character and keep you stuck in the same place. In fact, it's failure and learning from it that develops your character. Every mistake, every bad drawing, everything you find hard, those are actually all signals telling you the direction you should go in, and that by improving at them, you'll reach the next level. Marcus Aurelius said it best: the impediment to action advances action, what stands in the way becomes the way. So it's counterintuitive, but the cheat code for improving fast and meeting our need for competence is to fail forward, to take lots of action.
That is actually correct. You have to keep constantly saying, I think Jordan Lee Peterson said this. You have to be a fool to become a master towards something. You have to bear with the idea of being a fool. Now, when he says fool, he's talking about unknowing. He's not talking about you're an idiot. A lot of people take that as like you have to be stupid. Like, no, you're not stupid. You just don't understand. That's the thing. Once you get past that initial like issue of like I don't want to seem like I'm an idiot, you'll start learning. So yeah, like a novice or so.
And when we do make a mistake, to learn from it. Because of this, perseverance is the most underrated stat in the game of art. Consistency and playing the game for a long time is what makes your character become overpowered.
Correct.
So the strategy of being the last man standing, continuing on when everyone else would normally just quit, is one of the best ways to win the game. And the faster you can bounce back from failures and mistakes, the faster you level up. As Winston Churchill puts it, success is the ability to go from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far,
that is correct.
I hope you consider subscribing to the channel so you won't miss out on any new ones. The next psychological need is relatedness, the feeling that we're connecting with other people and that we belong. Games are designed to meet this effortlessly. They have stories with characters you can relate to, guilds and chat systems, and you can play co-op. Art, on the other hand, doesn't come with any of that built in. Most of the time, it's just you and the canvas, and it can sometimes feel a bit isolating and lonely. But you can build related...
Hey, James, what's going on? No, slow mode, though. Go nuts. Okay, for real. What's up, James? What's bringing you to the stream today?
Into your art journey by sharing your work, connecting with another artist, or just feel like you're part of the larger art community. What tends to hold us back from doing this, however, is comparison, which is one of those bosses on the art journey that everyone encounters. What's annoying about the comparison boss is that it doesn't one-shot you and instead slowly wears you down, telling you that everyone's better than you, that your art isn't good enough, or that you'll never catch up. It also has infinite respawns, so no matter how many times you beat it or ignore it, it will continue to come back whispering in your ear, especially when you're down.
Now the thing is about that, like a lot of people ask me, what keeps you motivated? How do you stream every day, or what gets you drawing art every day? I'm like, what gets me drawing art every day is to improve. That's it. I'm not looking for to be the best artist. I don't try to compare to myself to like we call it to any type of like artist that I like. I might like their work and stuff, and I guess it's inspiring, but I don't let that be my motivation. My motivation is to improve, and that's it. It's not to be better than them, it's just to know to myself that I'm improving. So to improve, you gotta constantly do the same. Well, not to do the same things, but you have to be you need to be expert in your field. So the best way to do is to learn it, fail at it, understand where you went wrong and why it went wrong. So that's pretty much how that works.
The only way to beat this boss is to turn comparison into admiration.
Correct.
So the next time you see an amazing piece of art and you find yourself comparing, pause and ask yourself these 3 questions. 1. What do I genuinely admire about this piece? 2. What's something I can learn from it? And 3. How can I apply that to my own art? You'll find that when you do this, instead of feeling down from comparing, you'll feel inspired and even learn something new to make your art better too. The third psychological need is autonomy, the feeling that our choices are meaningful and that we have control. Games are great at meeting this need. They let you create your own character, explore the world how you want, and choose your own path. You're in control and your decisions matter. Art by default gives us a lot of autonomy. We're free to draw what we want and how we want it, which might be one of the reasons we're drawn to it in the first place. The problem then comes when we go on social media and start seeing what everyone else is doing, seeing what's popular and what gets likes. We then start to get a fear of missing out, and suddenly, we're not drawing what we love anymore.
I don't. See, that's the problem. That's a problem. That right there is not the issue for me, because I don't sit there and worry about what's trending. I just worry about what I like. That's it. That's the problem. When we let that become the ultimate factor of why your art's not popping off, then you're gonna have a real problem. So, I would stay away from the idea of like You see, I can understand if you're trying to grow. That's one thing, because if that's the only way you can grow, then that's just unfortunate. But if you're just doing it for fun, or you're doing it to build a community in that sense, trends are not going to be your ultimate factor of this problem. It never was for mine. I never really do a lot of trends. I used to do trends at the very beginning because I thought that was like how people like your shit. I'm like, nah, that's not the truth. What happens is like you get lost. The ghost Pokemon. So like it's more of what you're, what's the right word? It's what you value most. Do you value growing? So the best way to grow is to see what's trending, sadly. Or if you are just trying to build a community, like I said earlier, you could just, you can pick a fandom, a sub niche. So if you're like doing like anime, you can pick like a particular type of anime. You can do like My Hero Academia type fan art, or you can make My Hero Academia type OC type art, or you can do I don't know, fan fiction, or you can do I don't know, like breakdowns of characters and psychology and all these different things. There's different ways of skinning a cat. It's just that you need to know which one really suits your need, or what you're most comfortable with, or you don't find much of a chore. That's where that comes in. So like you just gotta pick something you like.
You should draw
what we think other people will like. But while in many games the main quest revolves around saving the world and becoming the hero that's loved by everyone, in art, your main quest isn't to please everyone. Mark Rosewater, the head designer of Magic the Gathering, one of the biggest card games in the world, once gave a talk where he shared some of the lessons he learned from over 20 years of making the game. One of the stories he shared was about how they test new cards they make.
Yeah, just do the
which
thing.
one to keep and which one to change. He shared that they run a poll asking players to rate the cards from 1 to 10 based on how excited they'd be to play with it. He then asked the audience this question: which is better, a card that gets all 7s, or a card that gets half 1s and 2s and half 9s and 10s? The answer he reveals is the one that gets a mix of the 1s and 10s, because something that evokes a strong response is better, even if some of that response is negative. As he puts it, if everyone likes your game but no one loves it, it will fail. I think this is completely true for art too. And when I first heard this early on in my art journey, I was blown away, because up until then I had been creating.
You know what? You just pointed something out that's actually true to Gorilla. Now, Gorilla says, true, my most liked post is still a ink sketch that does not appear as detailed or as striking as my super realistic and detailed drawings. I did for the sake of art, enjoyment, and practice. So yeah, so that could be a thing. A lot of people get this mixed up. They think because if they don't draw a character super detailed with a bunch of rendering and stuff like that, it's not as good. It's not as good as the person who did it. No, you'd be surprised on how many people are perfectly fine with concept art or like sketches alone that's messy and stuff, because it's a relatability to that. So yeah, no, it's from Instagram. So like the thing is like you can draw something really non like detailed, but like if it really conveys what you're trying to present to your audience, it will actually do just as well as someone who super rendered something with perfect lighting, perfect shading, perfect, bounce light, dynamic poses, composition, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it just takes one recognizable drawing or something that's very relatable for you to get what you want, get the likes that you want. You don't have to be super good at it. That's the beauty of this whole social media thing. What pops off for you may not pop off for me. What pops off for me may not pop off for you. So like you gotta find. That's why building on your own niche in that sense, or finding the niche that you like, and really seeing where your expertise in that particular subject can actually really bring more of a community for you than you doing a trend. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So yeah, that happens a lot more than you think. Like there are some drawings I drew. All right, have a good night, Kai. there's a lot of drawings I've done before, like some drawings that I really thought will get a lot of likes and didn't get as half as likes as some drawings that was not as rendered or detailed. So that does exist.
And to make art
That I think most people would generally like. But turns out this was the wrong approach, because trying to appeal to everyone is basically how you end up resonating with no one. Yes, it's scary, because it does mean some people will dislike what you create. But when I think about the artists whose art I love and resonate with, I find that they're the ones who embrace what they're uniquely into and what makes them weird without trying to please everyone. And personally, looking back on my own journey, I've also found that my best work tends to come from when I'm being authentic and creating what I genuinely care about. The next cheat code.
That's where a lot of no problem. That's where a lot of people tend to also mess up too. They think if no problem, some guy, you have no problem, bro. That's where a lot of people kind of mess up too. They do this thing where they try to build an audience by just tapping into like one specific, like I won't say niche, but like subgenre, like My Hero Academia, and they think if they just draw a bunch of My Hero Academia, they'll build an audience. You can, but if it's not genuine, it's gonna come off. People will know when something feels genuine when made, because there's a time and care, there's a timing to it and everything. People will know, but then again, it's like that's really up to the person.
in the game of art
Is to experiment and figure out how to monetize your art, because once you do, not only can you start spending more time to draw, but you're also basically getting paid to learn and level up your skills, so your improvement just accelerates. This isn't limited to only doing commissions, however, and these days there are many options to monetize as an artist, and you can get started no matter where you are on the journey. For example, one way is to turn your art into custom merch that you can sell through a platform like Printful,
who's kindly sponsoring today's video.
Well, I got some stickers, guys. I got some stickers. Link in the description in Redbubble right now. They're all just $1. They're all just $1. Get my stickers now.
They are print on demand, which means there are no upfront costs or risk on your end, since the product only gets made when someone buys it, and they handle all the storage and shipping for you. Creating a custom merch is as simple as heading to their website and selecting the type of product you want to create. And there's a wide variety you can choose from, such as prints, posters, clothing, accessories, phone cases, and mugs. Then you can just upload your art and customize the design until you're happy with it. Afterwards, you can connect Printful to your online shop, and if you don't have one, you can create one for free on a place like StoreEnvy. If you already have one, they integrate with all the major platforms like Etsy, Shopify, TikTok Shop, and more. Once you finalize the details, the product will be added to your shop, and just like that, your very own custom merch is live, ready for sale.
Oh, for real?
Printful
I may have to
handles the
leave
rest.
Redbubble
When
then,
someone
because
buys
if
your
I can connect it to Instagram, oh my god.
They'll automatically make it, pack it, and ship it for you, so you can just focus on creating your art. They're known for their high product quality, and for example, here is a custom mug that I made with Ira here on one side, and my logo on the other side, and it's pretty awesome. Printful's pricing is also competitive, and they're used by some of the biggest brands in the world, like Coca-Cola, Spotify, and MTV, which means that you can get the same quality and service as them with no upfront cost. They've also got fulfillment centers all over the world, so you can sell internationally while avoiding extra fees. And they also give you the option to add things like insert cards and personalized messages, so you can add a personal touch to your merch and make your brand stand out. So if you find that interesting, you can check Printful out through the link in the description. Now, because as humans, our brains evolved to detect threats, avoid failure, and survive, we are actually better at spotting problems than coming up with solutions. So one of the biggest cheat codes for becoming a great artist is to use inversion thinking, where instead of asking, how do I get good at art? You flip it around and ask, how do I guarantee that I stay bad at art forever? And that's exactly what I do here in this video, where I take you through the 15 rules for staying bad at art and how to accidentally become a great artist by doing the opposite. This was Ory. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!
Alright, that's cool. So that was Ory Days. I hope I'm saying that right. We're gonna move on to the next one. Give them a follow, a like, if I decide to put this on the reaction channel. But yeah, that was pretty good. I like this. This is pretty good. Good video. Okay, let's see. Okay, I don't put anything that is like, if it's not anime related per se, I don't put it on the reaction channel. So this is not going to be on the reaction channel because it tends to bring a certain um attitude of people to my channel that I don't want to start trouble with. Not yet. I don't got fuck humor like that. So, this is from Clownfish TV, and in this video, hold
Hey guys, welcome.
on. Okay, this is Clownfish TV, and it says here Disney uses Jamie Lee Curtis boobs or bibs to promote Freakier Friday. Yeah, I think we all came across that video at least one time, seeing Jamie Lee Curtis just for some odd reason, just really just showing the hush puppies out. I'm like, bro, what is happening? I didn't know she was built like that. I never really found her attractive in the slightest because I just kind of saw her like that lady. But she pulled out the guns. I wonder if Disney has anything to do with that because remember they had to record this. Remember, she didn't make a video on her own. They had to call her up, take her to the studio, put her in the booth, sit down on the thing, have the lighting and production ready, and then have her sit there, say the lines with the guns out. I'm like, bro, what's happening? I thought this is a Disney movie. What is happening? Like, it's just like, what? Like, damn, like, okay. I see you, Jamie Lee Curtis. I still wouldn't hit, but then again, I will say that, well endowed there. Like damn, lady. Damn. Like, is Hollywood that desperate? Is Disney that desperate? Well, then again, it's not a Marvel movie, so I guess they don't have to do that. But then again, something like Freakier Friday from something that was made almost 20 plus years ago is like, well, if you really want people to get in these seats, you gotta pull those girls out. When in doubt, pull the girls out. I'm just saying. But I don't know.
Welcome back
to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And what do you do if your sequel to a movie made 22 years ago isn't doing very well at the box office? Well, you bust out Jamie Lee Curtis's boobs to try to get people to go see this movie, Freakier Friday, the sequel to Freaky Friday. Yeah, it's not doing so great at the box office. You went to go see it. You said it was pretty good, actually, wasn't it?
Actually, it is. I mean, if you like the 2003 Freaky Friday, then you'll like the 2025 Freakier Friday. I mean, it's just a case of if you didn't like the original, you won't like this one. It's not the original, but you know what I mean. You won't like this one either. But I liked it. I thought it was every bit as good, if not better. Our daughter said she didn't think it was quite as good as the original, but we both thought it was pretty fun. It's not doing well in theaters, and it's getting its butt kicked by weapons, which is a horror movie. So Disney decided to pull this one out yesterday.
Pull her tits out.
And I was like, but I mean, I think part of it's because they're trying desperately to get people to the box office and get some attention for the movie. And so they put her in this outfit, and it's obviously they filmed it during the filming of the movie because she wears this costume in the movie. It's like a joke that the girl she's changed into, it's like inside wants her to dress, sluttier or more fashion forward. So she dresses her like this and stuff, and that's the joke. So they filmed it then, but I don't think they thought it through, or they thought it through and they did it anyway.
I think they thought it through and they did it anyway because Jamie Lee Curtis, back in the day, she was known for her mommy milkers. Boobs. Yeah.
Bro, I want to know something. Where is all those feminists who keep fucking complaining about Janie Sweeney? Why they're not making videos and saying cancel Jamie Lee Curtis? Why is this? And she's not promoting using her feminine wiles to get to point A, point B. Yeah, she's a much older woman, but is she not doing something similar to... yeah, she's old, but shouldn't they be like encouraging this? You notice that they're not encouraging nor going against it, because it goes against their rhetoric at the same time. So, because if they go against a woman who's really old, there's like, oh, this is... They can't say it's ageist because you put like a a very I won't say she's attractive to me, but I guess conventionally attractive woman on screen that happens to be much older than what she's supposed to be. But when we take someone like Sydney Sweeney, who's like at her prime, there's no one saying that we need to cancel this woman. This is promoting what do you call it, neo-Nazi, what do you call it, white supremacist thinking, rhetoric, conservative ideology. Nothing to the point. Weird.
Milkers. But
I
yeah.
don't want to hear mommy milkers. Just no. No.
She was known for her assets. It was a thing, right? Go. It was a thing. And
was she really?
Not so much now. I'm just saying. No,
well, no, it's still now because she's still known for her assets because they put this out there.
But people aren't looking for those assets right now.
And the thing is, nothing she says they think like at all related to her boobs. It's about it's a fun movie. If you like the first one, come see the movie. And she's just doing this heartfelt like plea for you to come watch the movie and how much fun she's having, and she's so privileged to be part of the movie and everything else. And all everybody's talking about is the fact that her boobs are like right there. It's her boobs.
Yeah. So there they are. Let's talk about this before you get to, let's talk about Jamie Lee Curtis's breasts before we get into it.
I didn't think I'd be talking about today.
Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Yeah, so let's go out and watch the clip. Okay, you ready?
Yeah. I already saw this, but yes.
Curtis, come see Freakier Friday. The same level of nostalgia and joy and laughter and happiness and tears and friendships are being enjoyed again now 22 years later. You're going to join with a big group of people who are finding something really sweet at the end of the summer to remind them what it is to be alive. I'm just really privileged that I get to take you on the ride. And so thank you.
Sorry, she's really privileged to take you on the ride.
And the outfit's covering, but it's very low cut. And the whole point was, if you saw from the clip, like she had, like in parts of the movie, she has like that the old straight hair and everything else, and it was like a glow up supposedly.
Yeah.
And the belt's pushing them up, and they at that age they need all the help they can get to get up. But
They were quite floppy and everything everywhere all at once. And I remember that was a whole discussion then too. Apparently she likes to talk about her assets. Because I remember it was like, people were like, they're awfully floppy in this movie. And she's like, yeah, I didn't want to wear a bra. I didn't want to wear a bra. She also has hot dog fingers for some reason, but that's a whole.
So, I mean.
What the fuck is that?
Just when you get older, they get droopier.
It seems like she's really into this movie, according to the cut. However, she's dressed in one of her character's costumes, and her cleavage is on display. That's what nearly all 23,000 comments are about.
Hey, good news for Jamie Lee Curtis. She can still bring the comments, and she can still bring the attention with her boobs. So, go her.
Ha! I'm not the only one.
What?
When using text, the comments don't get any better. Where did those come from? One user asked. Oh, it's freakier, all right, said another. One person just wrote, Jamie Lee Milkers.
I don't like it.
Jamie Lee Milkers. Curtis does look...
Somebody else said that. I mean, you have to.
Curtis does look great, but everyone is acting like a cartoon dog with its tongue dragging on the floor that needs to be put in time.
There's a real issue with something going on with the internet when people see just the slightest thing of anything sexually attractive. I've kind of noticed this because when I made that one commercial for the TikTok commercial, it's only 3 seconds, and everyone just focuses on the 3 seconds. Like, the difference between my thing and Jamie Lee Curtis, she's throughout the entire video like that. Mine was 3 literal seconds, and no one won't stop talking about the first 3 seconds of the 2 and 51 minute video. That's a problem, I think, to a degree. Like, and what's funny, I declared it as it's for the summer. It's a swimsuit summer event. So it kind of makes sense because we're doing the summer sale. And for some odd reason, they can't get that wrapped around their minds. And the worst thing I think TikTok has ever done, one of the worst decisions, is ever giving these people the ability to use GIFs and or pictures to put in the comment section. I think that was the most dumbest thing they can ever do.
Wait, what? Okay, what the hell is this now? This is what happens when TikTok convinces a large swath of Gen Z that women become haggard ghouls after they turn 30, and that they don't realize that being a smoke show knows no age. There's no reason to be writing, as one commenter did, just because there's wrinkles on the wrapper doesn't mean the candy ain't sweet.
I love that one. That's right.
Wrinkles on the wrapper.
Oh my God, that's
wrinkles
beautiful.
on the wrapper.
There has to be a better way to be body positive toward women in their 60s. Maybe we need to bring back respectful awooga or va-va-voom, perhaps a simple wow if you're shy. If you're one of the thousands of people who commented horny things about Curtis, it's time to do some reflecting. If you're one of the millions of people who saw the video, though, and
I like how people do this, where they'll like when the person's not conventionally seen as like attractive, whether they're much older or much bigger, they then play ball game for the person being attractive now. But if it was like a conventionally attractive person who hits all the right like check boxes, they all of a sudden, you guys are horn dogs, there needs more censorship, this, that, and a third, you need to be punished for liking this, that, and the third. But when it's like something that looks like Lizzo or even looks like Jamie Lee Curtis, that's when the empowerment comes in. That's the weirdest shit. It's like when it's like a type of attractive that doesn't really seem as normal, it's somehow championed. But when it's something that is normal, it's almost hated. It's like a weird jealousy thing. It's weird as hell. It's fucking weird.
Holy moly, she looks good, but kept it yourself. Feel free to carry on.
But wait. But here's the thing.
No, I don't speak Espanol.
I mean, it's supposed to be she's promoting a family-friendly movie.
Right.
That was the wrong outfit for them to promote it in. But, you know, the fact that she can still command that kind of attention at her age is actually pretty complimentary.
Yeah.
Because see how she looks there, and they made her look all like, you know, dowdy and stuff. That was the joke. Because before, like, you know, she changed bodies with the girl that's gonna be her great step granddaughter. She was all very like frumpy, and then that was the joke. She's kind of fashioned up and glammed up, cut her hair and everything else.
Some other people wrote, "Whoa, hey, Ms. Curtis," and then I couldn't focus on anything. I'm sorry, but I could not focus on anything else except your Jamie Lee Milkers.
Well, here's the thing now. You know, I'm always afraid people are going to be like, you know, not liking like what I have, but maybe they would love it. I don't know.
I love them.
Yeah, why? Like, what the fuck? Why would you say this? Why the fuck would she say that? You are married. Why are you worried about other people liking your milkers? Isn't your opinion supposed to be of your husband's? Like, what the fuck? that there were some weird comments. Women would be making those stupid ass comments and don't think that doesn't sound off at the slightest. Like, if a man were to say that around his wife, she will have a fucking meltdown. Like, why? Why do you think that makes any sense to say it out loud? Like, she really just said that. She said something around the lines of, "Hello, Mono." She said something around the lines of, well, she wants other people to find her milkers just as attractive. I'm like, aren't you not married? Like, what the fuck?
I love you.
I'm just saying, like, I'm always like that, but, you know, I just feel a little better now. I feel a little better here.
So here's the thing. The movie
pretty good.
It's not doing that great. It's not doing that great.
No,
but this movie
it's
was not
not.
gonna be like a, you know, it made $1 billion at the box office. This is like a Disney Channel thing.
Yeah, it honestly, I wonder if they should just put on Disney Plus, but it did not do well. It hasn't even done like 55 million domestically. Worldwide, it's like 86.2 million. The budget on this one, I think, is like 45 million. So it needs like 90 to 100, 110 million to break even. So it hasn't even hit break even yet.
How does a movie? I don't know. How the fuck does a movie as simple as Freaky Friday has to cost 80-something million? Why? How much did it take? How much was the first movie? Hold on, let me see. Hold on. How much How much did it cost to how much did it cost to make Freaky Friday 1? In 2003, Freaky Friday had a production of 26 million, bro, which is significantly less than the 45 million reported for the sequel. Why? Why the fuck did it take 20? Like, why did a movie that was a sequel to a movie for 20 years ago? It's not a Marvel film. It's not a Marvel film. It's not a CGI type film. Well, I guess it has some form of CGI because it has some type of like magic in it. But that's probably like a couple of seconds, if anything. Where did the budget go? Is it all to the marketing or to the movie? Because, like, Jesus Christ, why is it 45 million more than the previous movie that made in 2003? That makes no sense. It's a fucking Disney movie. And it's not a, like, Marvel, it's not a Fox movie. It's a literal old movie about a daughter and her mom not getting along and switching bodies for, like, 24 hours. In a 2.5 or just an hour like movie, an hour and a half like movie. There is no reason for a movie that's made 20 years later plus to be 45 million more than the previous movie. If anything, the sequel should have been at least, I would say, 40 million. Like 20 million more. Probably even 30 million. But 26 million for the first one, but 45 million more. That's 80 something plus million more. What? No, bro, that's stupid. And then you're expecting to beat Weapons, a horror movie. Good thing you didn't open when Superman and the Fantastic Four opened. That you've been fucked. This movie is a Disney, straight to Disney Plus. You know what straight to Disney Plus is? It's now the new VHS. Straight to DVD to VHS. That's what going straight to Disney Plus means. Hold on, guys. I'm on the
movie. And Jamie Lee Curtis does wear that outfit in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, you guys liked it. It's now what's weird about this though is apparently the director of the original was not asked back.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that, but
yeah, this was a couple of days ago. He doesn't look. I thought that was Joe Pesci for a minute. I was like, this is Mark Waters. He wanted to be involved, but he was not invited. And he heard from a few cast members asking about his absence.
Yeah, because they had a lot of people back. Like a lot of the cast from the first one was in this one, including some of her friends and everything else. So they brought a lot of people back for this.
Yeah. So he was also the director of Mean Girls. I didn't know that. I was not invited to the party. I did raise my hand and say I'd love to be involved somehow, even in kind of a Godfather aspect or executive producer, but I was not extended an invitation.
Oh, that's weird.
That's a little weird. Maybe it would have done better if he was involved. I don't know.
Well, it actually was a cute movie, but again, like I said, if you're not a Freaky Friday fan, it's not gonna be for you. And I just think with what we've talked about before, and the way people go to the theater, and like we talked about, K-pop Demon Hunter's doing well because it was on streaming. I just think that people aren't going to go spend the money unless they feel like it's a must-see event. And when the first couple of days of the movie, it did pretty well because people that were going to go see it went to see it. And then you saw a lot of moms and daughters and stuff going, and it was definitely a certain type of people that was going to this movie. And like I went with our daughter, and it's just after you hit that blast at the audience, it's just not going to resonate with people, and it's not enough of a get up and spend money or make the effort type movie. Now it might do really well when it comes to Disney Plus, because I think a lot of people are just going to wait for Disney Plus because it's a cute movie, but is it worth going to the movie theater, spending all the money to go see it? That's what people are
fuck no.
About.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. Going to see Freaky Friday in the theaters, you're dumb. I'm sorry. I'm dead serious. It's the most dumbest thing you can go do. I know nostalgia is a thing, but no. It's not worth going to the movies. You could just wait till it goes on Disney Plus. It'll be there in like a month and a half. It's not worth going to see it. Like, I think the worst thing that Disney ever did was to make Disney Plus, because what you just told the audience is, why the fuck am I going to the movie theater where I can just wait and it'll be on Disney Plus, where I can, like, why would I pay like about $20-$30 to go see one movie when I can pay like, I don't know, $15 or $10 a month just to watch the same movie? You see how stupid this shit is? That's something you should have never have done. Disney should have never done that at all. This is why majority of all these streaming services should have stayed on Netflix, at least. Nah. Like, movies are changing. I do not think in the next 5 to 10 years. I don't even think movies are gonna be here in the next 5 years. I'm not. And being 5 is just being really nice. I'm being nice on that number. I don't think movies are gonna be here in the next 5 years. Like movie theaters, I'm saying. I do not think so. Because you guys cultivated a certain behavior that a lot of people don't want to, fuck with. Like, why would I go pay $20-something to see the latest movie when I can wait a month and a half and it's going to be on DVD, or not DVD, it's going to be on streaming services less than a month from now? And I'm paying like $10 a month or $19 a month. Why would I pay an extra $10 on that $19 to go see your stupid movie? That makes no sense. You're just doubling down on just giving Disney more money. That makes no fucking sense.
It looked like this is a Disney Channel movie. Like, I mean, it didn't look bad, but
That's the worst part. If the movie looks like a Disney Channel movie, you wasted your time. Why would you go and watch a movie? It's not even like Disney, like, production-wise, that it's like it has a movie feel. No, it feels like a Disney-esque movie. Disney Channel-esque movie. You guys know what I'm talking about. When you watch a Disney channel-type movie, there is a tone that feels very, like, safe. And I mean super safe. And it just feels very, like, I wouldn't say cheap. It just feels very Disney. Like, you can feel it. You can see it. It's like, Nah, I ain't watching this. This shit is not gonna fucking, no.
2000s all over again. That's
it was good though, but I can understand why people didn't go to the theater to see it. They're waiting for Disney Plus. I get it. But now that you've seen Jamie Lee Curtis's assets, maybe now it's top of mind.
Actually, quite frank, that's not gonna. I'm not gonna lie to you. Seeing Jamie Lee Curtis boobs kind of bust into the seams does not make me go out see this stupid ass movie. It's cheaply expensive. But I never really thought of that mindset. Like, I never like said, oh, I saw a commercial of what's his name? David Beckham wearing Hanes underwear. I need to get that too. That has never went in my mind. I never understand that type of thinking. Just because someone more attractive than me is wearing pants, I'm gonna feel just as attractive. Fuck no. That's the most dumbest thing I thought that anyone thought, because a more attractive person than you is wearing something, you're gonna feel more. No, it's not. If anything, that's just some strange form of gaslighting, if anything. Anyway, I need to head out, but headbutt some pillows under the blanket and catch some Z's. Like process so far. Thanks for the chat. No problem, Grill. I have no problem. Thank you for coming and asking your questions. I hope I answered your questions thoroughly enough for you to have enough of an answer. If I didn't, please let me know. But have a great night. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
And buy a ticket. So. And
I don't come to the theater because that was a joke too. Because they're just trying very hard to get people in the theater because Weapons is destroying them. And our son says Weapons is very, very good, and he keeps wanting to go back to see it again, but we haven't had time.
I get a chance to see it. I'm just looking at this Dick's Sporting Goods ad, and I misread it. I thought it said shoes for every athletic dick. And I'm like, I have so many questions.
No, but this that ad from Disney left people with many, many questions and many, many comments. So,
are we gonna wrap it up?
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Attention, stupid humans. All orcs are evil. Just
okay. That was Clownfish and the whole Jamie Lee Curtis thing. So I need this over. Nope.
Normally, it's not new.
Okay, we'll hold that off for now. How to get better at drawing? No, no, that's for me. VGen 25 release, that's for me. Let me see. The Greatest Arthur taking over manga. Ooh, here's this one. This is from Sufferings. I gotta stop making Sufferings like my go-to dude for all reactions. I think that's gonna look pretty bad on my behalf. Let me see. So this is Sufferance again. I didn't know I had 2 videos under it. I didn't know it was from him. I thought, never mind. Anyway, so he says the greatest manga of all time. Let's see what this is about. This came out 11 days ago from the moment of watching this video. So this might be much later if I put this on the reaction channel. So it is what it is. Hold on, let me play this.
The Big Three manga. This is 3 stories that came out in the early 2000s, very close to one another. They garnered worldwide popularity and success back to back to back. All of them have their own soul, their own flavor, their own path to success, but what they share inherently is that they're iconic, that they changed the industry, molded it to what we see today. So many of your favorite stories are inspired by these 3 manga, so I want to go back and remember them. Naruto was the first, but it wasn't my first manga. When I was growing up, I knew about anime, but I didn't understand it, as any kid would. I see it on TV and I just kind of recognize it as another cartoon, right? But I think specifically for Naruto, it was grouped with a lot of other stuff that I would see. So Dragon Ball was airing at the time, or Dragon Ball Z. I think Death Note was playing some stuff in the morning, as well as like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And One Piece and Bleach.
In the morning? I don't know about that morning. You mean late at night? I guess past 12. I guess you can call it the morning, but fuck that. That's at night. Fuck you.
They all were kind of playing episodes back to back, and before school, like when you're in primary school, when you're a young kid, they would play a couple of episodes very early within the morning from like 6 o'clock to like 8 o'clock. So depending on when you'd go to school, you might be able to bust out a couple of episodes while you're getting ready. This was the worst way to experience this story, but it did get you into it. I remember really enjoying Naruto, but not knowing where to go with it. So as a kid, didn't really understand like, you know, manga or comprehend anime or like the differences between it. Like, oh my god, it's Japanese because they played it in English. So I kind of just appreciated what it was, just another cartoon on the TV. Years would pass when I would be, you know, a young teen, going into that young teen era, and I would come across it again. I remember vividly trying to search up Naruto, trying to see, you know, what the difference is between anime and manga, and like what manga was specifically. And all I got hit with was like a panel that was in black and white and in Japanese, and it threw me off so hard because I didn't know anything that it kind of scared me from manga for quite a bit. I don't know what I was looking at, or where I was, or what the story was going. Did I spoil myself, or were I going back and reading old stuff? But back then it was so much more difficult to find this stuff. Eventually this would lead into, you know, understanding anime and manga, trying to find Naruto and read it weekly, because at that time it was still going, it was incredibly popular, and it was, I guess, niche.
Wait, are you being dead ass? Are you being dead ass? Are you being funny? I think you're being funny. You bullshitting me. Don't bullshit me, Mono. You're bullshitting. You are not. No. Fucking lie to me. What? Why? Wait, is it not the books? Like, you're scared of. Is that a reading thing, or that was like, or it's like a spoiler thing? I think you're bullshitting me. No, you're bullshitting. You're bullshitting. No. Stop bullshitting. You'll make me laugh. I'm trying to be dead serious. Are you bullshitting? You're making me laugh. I swear to God, Mono. No, you're fucking lying to me. Don't lie to your teacher. Bullshit. What? Are you lying? I'm for real. Wait, is that a reading thing or that's a spoiler thing? Like, I'm like, when you say a lot of words, are you talking about like, is that, when I say reading thing, is that like a dyslexic thing or like like even when you say that, I think you're bullshitting. Like, no. I feel like part of me wants to believe you, but part of me think you're just taking the piss out of me. I swear to God, I think you're taking the piss out of me. I swear to fucking God, Moto. Serious. You're making your teacher laugh. You make me sound insensitive. You better not be fucking lying to me. Oh my God. Like, wait, is that a spoiler thing for you, or is that like, was it a spoiler thing because of the words, or was it like a dyslexic, I'm scared to read type shit, or I didn't know how to read type shit, and it felt like intimidating? Because I'm like, I like it's, I don't know about this, like people being scared of the words of a comic book, like that's just, I can understand if you have dyslexia to a degree. I'm hearing that one meme by that one Hispanic dude, the guy's name, and he's making fun of Emma Harthorne, I think her name is. She's like, I have dyslexia, and he's making like that funny video of her like in TikTok. I swear to God, if you're not bullshitting me.
Globally, it didn't have the worldwide appeal yet, but I did go back and I started to read it, and the experience for this story is fantastic. Like, Naruto is one of those stories that feels very warm and
There's two reasons. One, thick cooking book fell on my head when I was little. The fuck? I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to sound sensitive, but I kind of want to laugh. Because, like, you're the first person to get real specific about not only just a book fell on your head, but a cooking book of all things. I kind of want to laugh. I'm not even gonna play with you. I ain't gonna try to play that game. But, like, okay, the book fell on your head, and then what? What about the words? Why is the words scary? I don't understand. Can you explain to me?
bubbly and really something that you can easily connect to because of its main character, Naruto.
And second is that I hate those thick ones because there's no breaks. And between pages and stuff, like words and words and words. So like what? It's like those. Okay, so like those books that are like see, let's use an example like a encyclopedia when it has a bunch of like words and it has little to no pictures. Okay. Oh, I mean like, oh, this is gonna put me to sleep type shit, or just like, is that what that is? Is that a phobia? Is that a phobia? I don't think that's a scare. Okay, so there's a phobia of too many words. The fear of long words is known as, not that one. No, not the long. No, like too many. Fear of short words. Long words. Why is fear of long words called whatever the fuck that word is? It's so fucking, like, I like how the fear of long words is this gigantic ass word. Like, the irony in that is wild. Whoever did that was extremely trolling. So like there's a fear of long words, and the word itself is so fucking long. Well, that's one way to use the system. Long words are too many words. Too many. What's phobia? Too many words. No. Like thick books. Thick books specifically. The fear of thick books is likely a manifestation of bibliophobia. If I'm saying that right. Am I saying that right?
Bibliophobia.
Yeah, I said that right. Cool. bibliophobia, which is the general fear of books. While not a separate phobia, the anxiety associated with thick books can stem from the overwhelming feeling they can create, or a fear of not being able to understand or finish them. Huh. Yeah, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of crazy fucking words that exist for things that shouldn't. But then again, everyone's different. Thick books can evoke feelings of being overwhelmed, particularly for those who struggle with reading or have learning disabilities. Huh. It can cause anxiety. Fear of failure. Okay, a fear of not being able to understand the content or complete reading of lengthy book can also contribute to anxiety associated with the thick books. Okay. This is a specific phobia of books encompassing a range of anxieties related to them, according to Cleveland Clinic. Okay. Don't know how I feel about this. You'd be surprised. Oh, I wonder if this is a fear of. I'm gonna see if that's a thing. Hold on. Holy shit! Anime phobia? What do you call? That's a word? That's a fucking word? What do you? Okay, you want to hear the word, guys? The fear of anime has a word, and it's called
Laponiaki numenonskity anophobia.
That sounds like a whole magic word. That sounds like a whole magic sentence. It's spelled LAPONIAKIONONSCHEDIONOPHOBIA. That's the whole fucking word. It's real. It is a fear of anime, the Japanese style of animation. While not formally recognized as a clinical phobia, the most diagnostic manuals, the term describes a specific aversion of fear related to anime. This fear can stem from various sources, including traumatic experiences, negative associations, and learned behaviors. What the fuck? Negative associations include individuals might associate anime with negative experiences such as being bullied or teased or liking it. Wait, hold on. What? So because I got bullied watching anime, I'm gonna associate my fear towards anime. What? If anything, be mad at the people who fucked with you, not the anime. So, okay, how about this? What if I like planes, right? And I get bullied for liking planes. You gotta have a phobia of the planes too? Not the people who fucking with you. What? And, individuals might associate anime with negative experiences, such as bullied or teased for liking it, or with unsettling imagery of themes in certain anime series. Traumatic experiences, a traumatic event involving anime-related content, such as disturbing scenes or character that could trigger a phobia. Well, that's not like an anime thing. That's more of like if you watch a movie and there's like a grape scene. I guess if you're a boy and or girl who's been in that particular situation, whether almost or has happened, I can see how that can be a problem to a degree. But I don't think that should be exclusively towards anime. That could be like any movie, any video game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That seems like more of a associated behavior towards anything. Yeah, because his traumatic experiences. So it says here, learn fear, observing other experience, learning others express fear or aversion towards anime could lead to the development of a similar fear. How's that? Over resilience on anime. Some may develop a phobia-like aversion as a reaction to anime becoming a primary means of avoiding real-life problems or social interactions. Oh, okay, so I can get this one. So some people can develop phobia-like aversion as a reaction to anime becoming a primary means of avoiding real life. Okay, I can get behind this one. People can use anime to like escape real world problems, which could be good and bad at the same time. Good because if you are always getting bullied or something like that, you can use this as a form of resilience to like not put yourself in predicaments of being like, pushed around. But this could cause real trouble because like this happened to Rudius in Jobless and Reincarnation. He was shutting himself in because he didn't want to be seen by his classmates because they will make fun of him because of his weight or whatever the case may be. So he associated the idea of being made fun of not leaving his house, and that was one of the main phobias that he mainly had in the show, which he overcome within the first, I think, 3-4 episodes or so, to a degree or so. But he still had some traumatic traumas from his excessive amount of bullying. This antiphobia. This is a term used to specific video games context, referring to a apocalyptic world overrun by anime characters. What? Excuse me. Wait, let me read that again. Aniphobia. This is a term used specifically video game context, referring to post-apocalyptic world overrun by anime characters. What? Important note. While term of anime phobia is used to crucial to distinguish from a recognized clinical phobias, if the fear of anime is causing significant distress and interfering with daily life, it is recommended to consult with a mental health professional for proper assessment and support. Okay. But that last one is the most dumbest one. I don't care what anyone tells me. I don't give a shit if I sound extremely insensitive. That is dumb as fuck. That is the dumbest one out of all of them. I'm dead serious. I don't care if I sound like an asshat. I don't care. I'm going to read it again. Aniphobia. This is a term used in a specific video game context, referring to post-apocalyptic world overrun by anime characters. What? What? Oh. I feel like Matt Walsh wrote this one. I honestly think Matt Walsh wrote this one. It kind of feels that way to me. Okay. That's dumb as shit. Because anime characters do not exist. See, I can understand if they said like this is a term used in video game context referring to a post-overrun of the world of anime characters that you see everywhere. Now, if you can say like they're like in countries, like in TV, video games, merch and stuff, and you have a sphere, fine. But when you say correct. Imagine the person who has a fear of anime and they're walking through the Thanksgiving parade and you see a fucking Goku and Luffy blimp just flying over your head. Oh my god! They will have a post-traumatic stress disorder almost instantly. They'll be like shaking and wiggling on the floor, contorting. Oh my god, foaming at the mouth. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna laugh at you. I'm dead serious. I'm gonna laugh. That shit will be so funny. You're having a meltdown, a crash out amongst crash outs. That's crazy. Bro's actually going Super Saiyan on the floor.
Naruto. In retrospect, it's a really traditionally told story with a lot of beautiful artistry and a lot of beautiful character work, and the pacing, at least from what I remember weekly, was phenomenal. For me, Naruto feels like a perfect
or like you're in New York and you're passing by, right? You're passing by like the Anime Expo, and they're having their event, and you see a bunch of anime people, a lot of cosplayers just in line trying to get into the convention. Oh man, you can't even drive around. You gotta like drive the whole different like street or like go go down a different highway just not to go down that way.
Opener for people that are getting into the anime or manga industry. You have a plethora of episodes that covers the whole story, or you can read the entire manga. And for something that has like, what, 700 chapters, that's really impressive. That's an era that doesn't really exist anymore. I fell in love with Naruto because it feels very...
What? He said, what? He said, you just straight up died. It was so funny.
Sincere. Like the character interactions, the character journey, the relationships
The
between
fucked
them.
up part, you know, this sounds like a star of an anime. You have a phobia of anime. You run into you didn't know that there was a big convention or parade that's happening. You go down your street or whatever the case may be, depending on where you live. You see a giant blimp of Goku, and you have a massive heart attack. You die and get isekai'd. You get isekai'd, and not only you get isekai'd, you isekai'd into a 2D world, look like an anime character. Bro! Bro, I can see that being an anime right now. Bro, I can see that happening. No shit.
Brand story. Well, there's like a lot of big and ambitious and
right?
powerful things
you
going
get isekai'd again.
on with crazy abilities and jutsus. At the end of the day, the core story is really emotional. There's a lot you could potentially relate with, there's a lot you can peel back and explore on your own, and while it never really gets too depressing, there's a lot of strong thematic presence in there that I think Kishimoto done well to balance appropriately. Like, you would have these horrifying things happening to people or around people, but the way that he would showcase it balances it out effortlessly. It really
just imagine getting isekai'd as a vending machine and you just can't die. Oh, an anime vending machine with anime girls on your shit and like they're trying to sell sodas or coffees or whatever the fuck.
Sticks with
or
you.
better worse, you become like a vending machine of like panties. I think they have that in Japan. You can actually buy like vending machines of used panties. That shit is fucking weird. You know that anime? Yeah, I know that vending machine one. But imagine that one. Like, you die, you get isekai'd, you died again because you realize you're in an anime world. You come back to the real world, but now you can't die because you're a vending machine. Like, you get isekai by a vending machine as a used panty vending machine, because I think they have that in Japan. That would be fucking crazy. And it's like anime, like graphics on you, and you can't die. That is crazy.
And I think Naruto as a
like
character
it doesn't get any more weirder than that.
Iconic. Having a kind of child like that with that type of upbringing and that type of responsibility and that type of isolation, growing into it and trying to understand it and trying to understand himself. It's this really big journey.
Okay, I understand that Naruto is the Hokage, but there's something I kind of wondered. What? Okay, other than the Rasengan and the Rasen Shuriken and clones, what does he have? Well, he does have Sage Mode. He has Sage Mode, Rasengan, Rasen Shuriken. He has clones. And Kumara's gone, so... I think he can still tap into Sage Mode, right? So what, he has like 5 abilities? Or 6? Is that worthy of being being Hokage? I feel like you should know a lot more jutsu than just 5. Does that make sense? Like, when I hear Hokage, I think you know several jutsu that you're not telling us type shit. And you have like one like ace in your hole, but like most of the other moves are a lot just as formidable almost as your ace. Right? Naruto uses clones. Rasengan, Rasen Shuriken. Sage Mode, and I guess the Toad can he use Toad? Is that like the Toad thing? But he doesn't have Kumar anymore, so that was like kind of like enhancing all those abilities. But since Kumar's gone, he technically has like 5 moves. Oh no. Is that worthy of being Hokage? I don't know. I feel like hey Ari. I feel like Sasuke knows a lot more moves than Naruto. Like conventionally, I feel like he has more like moves than him. But I could be wrong.
You have self-evaluation, and then you have other characters connected to it that are trying to go through their journey of self-evaluation. In this really big and conflicting, war-torn world where anything can kind of spark and blow up at any moment, it's ridiculous in scale thinking about it, but so beautifully and meticulously handled to its characters, and how much of a driving force they can potentially bring forward. Of course,
Milo.
it has its misses, like every story does, but easily the pros outweigh the cons, both in anime and manga, and the experience is unmatched. When you go back and watch this thing, when you experience it for the first time, or even just remembering it like I am now, it has an aura that surrounds it that just feels iconic. A memorable story that has shaped this industry for the better.
Hey, Bubblebee. Hello. Hey, Mr. Ozawa. I'm getting a lot of people coming in today on YouTube. TikTok, you guys are fucking it all up for yourselves. I'm starting to the point where I'm not gonna stream on TikTok anymore. I'm just dead serious at that point because hardly anyone speaks on TikTok when I'm doing it through OBS, and hardly you guys speak when I'm doing it through the phone. I'm at that point where I'm just gonna drop TikTok completely. The only time I might stream on TikTok is when I'm playing video games. I'm dead serious. I might not do artwork anymore on TikTok. I won't stream artwork anymore on TikTok, but I'll probably play some game. That's as far as that's gonna go. Because like I've noticed this lately, ever since like the blackout. Pretty good. Pretty good, to be honest. Pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Pretty good. Okay. But right now, for those who don't know what's going on or brand new, we are doing a reaction while I do artwork for my mod. We're doing this reaction thing when we're doing anime or just anything that feels interesting to listen to as I do artwork, and we give our opinions and talk about it and stuff. So it's kind of fun. So if that's something that's up your alley, say. If you're not, if you're just here for the art, that's cool. If you're here for me and my VTubing model, that's also awesome. I really appreciate it. And yes, I made it myself, so if you're wondering.
Story and a character people will never forget. Bleach was a funny experience for me as a kid. Bleach was the second story that I read out of the big three. The reason I didn't read One Piece at the time is because it had a lot of material and it took a bit of self-convincing to actually get into it. So I started with Bleach. Very different to what I was expecting. At this point, I had a couple of other manga under my belt and Naruto was the ship at the top. Bleach was different because as much as it was hailed as being iconic and revolutionary, its vibe was totally off. Like a complete opposite to everything I would see from One Piece and what I remember of Naruto. I remember going into Bleach and being like, this doesn't feel like something that I've read before. Its opening is very simple, it's very straight to the point, but the vibes were darker, a little bit more moody. The main character was a lot older, like 15, 16 Ichigo, and his personality was sweet and sincere, but it was crusted over with
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't give a fuck what anyone tells me. I understand that Ichigo at the beginning of the series was 15, but that's a grown-ass man. Ichigo is a grown-ass man. For a 15-year-old in Japan that big, that bro was more, he was 20 in my head. I thought he was 20. When people said he was 15, I'm like, you fuck out of here with that. Like, no way. Do you see how tall that fucker is? No way. No way. You can't tell. You really gonna convince me that Ichigo Kurosaki looks like he's 15? He talked 15. He looked 15 to you. That looked like a 15-year-old to you? Hell no, that bro has a whole credit score. You can't tell me. Same, and you know what? Fucking Ichigo's not even the only one. It's fucking Chad, bro. Chad! That's a grown-ass man! You can't tell me! Chad is one of the most biggest characters in the biggest characters in the game. I mean, in the show. You can't tell me. Shit, I would believe more of like Ichigo's friends are more 15. Straight up. Actually, his sisters look more 15. There's no way. And I think his sisters was like 13 and 12 or some shit. They look 15. Ichigo looked like he's in his early 20s or late teens. He looked like he's no 15. Fuck out of here with that. Especially with Chad.
Kind of rebellious teenage aesthetic back then. That first impression is very memorable. Not because I think it's the best thing ever, but because it stood out among the big three. Like, okay, this story is going to be a little bit more moody, a little bit darker perhaps.
That was something that I keep forgetting myself, that he had sisters. I keep forgetting about because they're very forgetful, I'm not going to lie. Both his sisters, well, there's one that, I think the black-haired one's a little bit more memorable because she's a little bit more feisty, but like, they are forgettable. And some of his friends are very forgettable too. So, oh, I don't know if anyone thought this. So when Ichigo and his friends went to the Soul Society to get Rukia, and he went through that training session to find his sword with, I think he was with, the dude with the hat, I forgot his name. But, what was it? No, he was with the, was it I think it was the Ninja Cat. I forgot who he was training with to find his right sword, but like, the chick, the very busty chick that they hang out with her brother, I think it was her brother, who was against the Soul Society at the time. She looked like his friend. Oh man, it's gonna be hard for me to explain who I'm referring to. I'll look it up real quick. Hold on.
Quickest things that I remember Bleach implementing pretty much straight from the get-go, chapter 1, is its sword mechanic or its sword powers. When you think about swords nowadays, they're dime a dozen. Pretty much anything and everything about swords has been done, and it's rare that you'll see new manga focus heavily on swords. Not impossible, looking at you Kagurabachi, but rare. And it's mostly because I would say that Bleach back then implemented and mastered the sword power usage, but really took it to its limits. Like, it has the most kind of recognizable and iconic swordsmanship and power around swords that you could get. And every other story that has tried to use swords kind of loosely follows in its footsteps, either on purpose or by accident. There's another conversation about how it's difficult to mechanically make swords appealing because of how much they've been used and how much has been done with them. But Bleach is the predecessor for that. Kind of where it all began. Like, if you wanted a sword ability that looked cool, that changed and evolved and really had all these cool powers and elements to it, Bleach was number one. I appreciate that. Because of how early these stories were, the power system was a really big kind of draw. Like, you would get hooked by it very easily. Bleach took swords and made them incredibly interesting. Like, you would bond with the idea of that power, and it's fascinating how, looking back, kind of changed the landscape for swordsmanship. Personally, I didn't fully connect with Bleach as much as the others. I think it's a fantastic read. I think it's fun. I think it's ambitious. I think it's a lot darker and a lot more moody than its competition, but it does do things differently. How beautiful and poetic it wants to be, and while it's memed on a lot of the time for not having much of a background, I think the approach Kubo took to mastering the craft of his character designs and then the little backgrounds that he would draw and how he would try and slice in this poetic, heavily thematic identity behind each character and each emotion and each action really helped. Like, Kubo had a vision of something very grand and very big, and for a weekly story that's difficult to kind of swallow and comprehend. Conceptually, it's difficult to kind of bring that across, and I think a lot of it does fall underneath the experience. A lot of people aren't looking at the poetry, or a lot of people don't want to look at, you know, the thematic aura that it has. But I think if you do, the more you explore the story, the more you unravel it, the more back-end work Kubo has done to not only bring these characters to life, but to bring that poetry to life. And
the thing is, Ichigo was as tall as most of the the captains. I think him and Byakuya was the same height. If I think of it, I think he's the same height as his father almost. That's a big ass boy.
And how it intertwines with their interactions and perhaps what they represent. There's a lot of characters, and I like what they represent. I like how they intertwine with Ichigo. Reading it back then, it felt simple and easy and to the point.
For some shit.
Going back and rereading it and playing around with it, it feels so much more ambitious. There's a lot of missteps that I have with Bleach. I'm really not a big fan of the ending. That's just personal reasons. But I do think the journey and the experience that Bleach has offered is obviously revolutionary. Equally,
no way. They said that Ichigo was 5'8". He was 5'8" at the beginning of the show, before the time skip. He went 5'8", and he went 2 inches higher to 5'11". No, that boy was 6 foot. Fuck out of here with that. He was 6 foot from the beginning of the jump. You tell me that he was 5'11". He's 2 inches taller from the beginning of the. He's 5'8", and he gets 2 inches. 3 inches, like 5, 8, 9, 10, 11. 3 inches taller. He was close. I'm gonna round it off to 6. Let's just be honest, because if he's 5'11" naturally, he puts on some shoes. He's 6. Let's just call it for what it is. You're not wrong. I think you're right. As once he puts on some sneakers, a boots, or something, he's 6 foot. Straight up, that's bullshit. He was 6 foot from day one.
With Naruto, while it is long, it is such a great place to start some of the early manga that you should be reading, or early anime you should be watching. One Piece is very, very long. When I came across One Piece as a young lad, the first thing I recognized was that, damn, this long as hell. And you know what? It's still going. So many years later, like 15 plus years later, it's still here. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I respect Oda for continuing. Not because he has to, or he's trying to make the most money or be the most popular story to ever exist, but because he's just trying to tell his story his way. And while there's issues with that sentiment on him chaining stuff, blah, 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 yada, yada, it's ambitious, to say the least, and you have to respect it. I remember falling so in love with early One Piece because of its charm. Like, Luffy is such a recognizable character, he's such a charmer, but really the sense of adventure I think sells One Piece, especially if you're reading it as a kid, young teenager, maybe a bit younger, maybe a bit older. That sense of exploration and wonder is absolutely beautiful, and you don't get those in the other big three. You get different things for the big three, but One Piece is that adventure, the grandness of the world, the collaboration of friendship and exploring to different places to find new friends to help you move forward and to continue growing together. Like, it's a very beautiful sentiment, right? With a really simple outcome: be king of the pirates, find the One Piece treasure, straightforward. That's what's leading you there. And yet it's complicated. Like, there's so many characters and so many islands and so many little offshoots of adventures that just work so well. But I think it only works.
Okay, so this is what I was saying. I know I was kind of probably confusing everyone on this, but like, it was this character, for those who are watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see what I'm talking about. If you're watching this on Instagram, you can probably see it. It was this character right here, and I thought, okay, image 2. I thought these two was going to be related in some way. I literally thought these two was somewhat related in some strange ass way, because they had just a similar look. So I was like, there must be some type of. I think even Ichigo even made a statement that they look alike. I honestly thought these two was going to be like some type of descendant of each other or something that, because they just had a similar look and they had some of the same type attitude towards things. So I was like, this is a foreshadowing to something, and it never happened. So I was like, maybe I was just looking into it too hard. But something about these two, I thought had some type of, I don't want to say chemistry because they never met. I don't think these two ever met once, but I always knew that they had some type of connection somewhere. I thought it was like an ancestor or something like that, but no. Because if you put this, the robe, or I don't know, the durag, what the fuck do you call this, and then put it around her head, it would be pretty much the same character. That's what I thought.
Really well is because his characters are charming. It has a design philosophy behind his artistry that is different. It's quirky and crunkly and really fits together thematically to work well. Like all of his
she got wives. She does really? Okay.
Way. Like this guy here, he's like 20 foot. You know what I mean? Just a big dude for no reason. He built like that. That's okay. You don't need any explanation. This is a pirate fantasy adventure. Who cares? The more wacky it got, the more charm it would bring in. The more charm the main cast of characters would bring in, the more they would back and forth off each other. Really, the humor is kind of what gets you. I think it's like the secret weapon of One Piece that doesn't really make
I hear you.
known until the cast starts to form. That's what I found when I was a kid. What I was really loving is the interactions with like Zoro or Sanji or Nami, Chopper or Brook. It was just funny to experience. You know what I mean? I think when that starts to burn or you start to, get used to the humor or tired of it perhaps, what hooks you is these big, conceptually grand, adventurous ideas. Because this easily could have just been a pirate story in retrospect. Go here, go there, blah, 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 take some bad people out, you name it. End of the day, done. But then it turns into this like political strife, turns into these islands at war, turns into military, kind of being confusing and flustered and cannibalizing each other, these warlords that are incredibly powerful beings, these old boys that like wander the seas that are ridiculously powerful, and everything just amplifies more and more. The more context our island has, the more narrative prowess it's going to bring forward, the more you're just going to explore and get the lore of the world filled out even more. This would amplify so much more over the years. Like he would continue to do it, but make it more intertwined with the main story rather than just being like a character thing. Everything would start to smooth out really, really well. I think if you're mentally prepared and you have a couple of manga under your belt, like 5 to 10 maybe, look at One Piece and just try and chip through it. Try and get to 200 chapters and 400, 600 chapters. I promise you, if you do enjoy it, you'll fly through a lot of things relatively quickly. And I think the charm does convert from anime to manga really, really well. You might have an easier time with anime, but it's going to take you a lot longer. The adventure, the lore, the ideas, the theory crafting, there's so much that this story, Naruto's story, or Bleach's story has to offer. They're all iconic, they're all fantastic, and I'm honestly really, really happy that as a young kid, I was able to find the manga medium, find the anime medium, and experience all of these stories relatively early. They have shaped the landscape to the stuff that you know and love today, and either you're in a position like myself where you've read these stories back when you were a kid, or you're new to anime and manga, and maybe you've always heard about the big three but weren't really sure if it was worth your time. I promise you, it is. Go read these stories. They're iconic for a reason, and they will always be iconic. There will never be a new big three or another group of stories that will ever touch or replace them. They stand on their own as figures of this industry, and you gotta respect that.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Okay.
Joining me now is celebrity and royal reporter.
Cancel culture still exists. Elf communities under fire for controversial. I don't care about that. William Hall. What is this? What is this? This is a big nothing. I don't know.
This is a website where users can place a single colored pixel every few minutes to form beautiful works of art on the map of the Earth, similar to...
No, nothing.
I will wait for tea.
Nope, that's not for y'all. Nope, this is more for me.
Hey there, Bree!
No. No.
こんにちは、斉藤直樹です。
No, that's for my studies.
Jujutsu Kaisen
Okay,
fans,
Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, that's okay. We can go up that one. We can go up that alley.
time to mark your calendars. Big news is on the horizon. The Culling Games sequel anime is set to get a major spotlight during the series' 5th anniversary program on August 31st, and the hype is already off the charts. For those keeping track, Jujutsu Kaisen first hit TV screens back on October 3rd, 2020. In just 5 years, it's gone from a promising shonen debut to one of the most dominant anime of the decade, delivering 2 blockbuster TV seasons, 2 movies, and consistently jaw-dropping animation from Studio Mappa. Now, the story is preparing to enter one of its most intense arcs yet, and the studio isn't holding back. The anniversary program is set for August 31st and is shaping up to be a massive event. Scheduled guests include Junya Inoki, the voice of Yuji Itadori, Yuma Uchida, the voice of Megumi Fushiguro, and Asami Seto, the voice of Nobara Kugisaki. And here's the kicker, there will be 5 major announcements in total, one of which will focus entirely on the sequel anime. The official statement teases important information, such as key visuals for future developments and brand new footage.
You said sequel anime? Wait, did you say sequel anime? Not season. Sequel. There's a sequel coming? So they're going to expand on the story even more? I thought the story was actually done. I don't know how I feel about that. Well, then again, I'm like, well, the Japanese tend to do very well when they do their sequels, I guess, per se, for a show. Sometimes. I'm not going to say all the time, because look at Boruto to a degree, but then again, it's still going, so I guess that's a win.
Footage, making it very likely that we'll get our first real look for Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3.
Okay.
And if that wasn't enough to get fans buzzing, voice recording for the new season is already underway. Junya Inoki recently shared a funny and slightly worrying update from the studio, joking about how Megumi Ogata, the voice of Yuta Okatsu, has been stabbing him over and over with a katana during recording sessions. Of course, he's talking about acting, but it's a perfect snapshot of how brutal this arc is going to get. Inoki also hinted that the final product will be really, really high quality, which is exactly what fans want to hear after Season 2's explosive finale. For those unfamiliar with where the anime left off, the Culling Game arc is essentially Jujutsu Kaisen cranked up to 11.
And you know what's funny about that? It's like the irony when they said it's going to be more like high production than it was in Season 2 was funny because everyone thought the high production was Season 2. Like that was the highest it can go. And no, these people was tired. They were leaving or they was quitting or whatever the case may be because they was overworked. And they pulled that banger of that whole scene with I think it was the scene that really pushed them was the Sukuna one. And if that was considered sloppy, god damn. I want to be a failure. I want to be a quitter. I want to be a Mappa quitter. Like, damn. Like, shit. The fight with Sukuna and Magaraga was, in my opinion, that was fucking insane. Or the fight with Itadori and his brother. Or like the scene with Toji and his son. One of the coolest scenes in that was like when with the bunnies. When he destroyed all the bunnies with just a pebble. That shit was crazy. The restroom fight too. Like that's crazy. Like
It's one of the most ambitious arcs in the manga, and Mappa will have their work cut out for them bringing it to life. Given the pace of the story, Season 3 is likely to be action-heavy from start to finish, with little room to breathe just the way Jujutsu Kaisen fans like it. The August 31st event might shed light on the big question. When will Season 3 actually premiere? While MAPPA hasn't provided a release window yet, reports of voice recordings suggest that production is progressing. If past timelines are anything to go by, a 2026 release is possible. But for now, that remains speculation until it's officially confirmed. Until then, the countdown is on. So, how ready are you for Jujutsu Kaisen to dive headfirst into the chaos of the culling game? Do you think we'll get a teaser trailer at the anniversary event? Drop your predictions in the comments below.
Right?
If you enjoyed this update, give the video a thumbs up, share it with your fellow anime fans, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss the latest news here on Daily Anime. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Okay, so that was that. So great news.
Japan's Nico Nico season.
So this is Chibi Reviews, and he says, great news, Kandawa calls out Visa card and using them money. Visa card and Visa and MasterCard. So how is this good news this year?
Paid subscriptions decline following credit card restrictions and adult content crackdown. And Kadokawa in this article even outlines that they have taken massive financial damage thanks to payment processors removing Visa and MasterCard and other forms of payment from their site last year. And ever since they did that, you've had Nico Nico face irreparable damage. Damage to the point to where they're not recovering and that subscriptions are going down and they're not being able to actually meet what they want to meet for the company. It's a pretty damning statement, honestly. Kadokawa pretty much directly calls out Visa and MasterCard or just payment processors in general for the reason why the company is not doing so hot, even though they have decided to self-censor and they even remove the adult content from the platform. You still have them hurting thanks to it because they tried to appease to those that wanted them to bend the knee. They bent the knee, but obviously the people that were already, kind of hit with the payment processors or didn't want to deal with not being able to have the content they wanted decided to jump ship and never come back. And so when you look at this entire situation, it really paints a pretty clear picture of just what we have systematically have been seeing ongoing for years at this point. But we're actually getting to see a massive company like Kadokawa damaged. Now, for those that have no idea who Kadokawa is, let me give a little bit of a summary to them. For instance, Kadokawa owns From Software, or at the very least owns a majority. They own 70% of From Software's company. Even in this IGN article, it outlines the fact that yes, they do own 70% of the company of From Software. And so basically, having a massive company like Kadokawa take financial damage from payment processors is a pretty big deal. So let's go ahead and let's read this article. Kadokawa, financial results for the first quarter of the fiscal year ending March 2026 revealed that overall revenue from its major video streaming platform, Nico Nico, has been on a decline. Source from Otaku Soken, which is this Japanese article here, and thankfully Ramblings, he actually decided to do a translation of it. I appreciate him a lot for this, but let's get back to this. So basically, the source of this article stems from this Japanese article that came out. The company attributes this primarily to a recent decrease in premium paid subscriptions caused by credit card payments being suspended on the platform for months. Although the most recent quarter saw subscriptions rebound slightly, with premium members growing by 5,000 to 994,000 in total, this is still a far cry from past figures. Excluding the impact of the June 2024 Kadokawa cyber attack, which resulted in extraordinary losses for Nico Nico in the previous fiscal year, the company admits that membership numbers have remained below the 1 million mark for the second consecutive quarter, leading to an overall decline in revenue. While the number has been slowly dwindling these past few years, 2016 through 2017 saw premium members peak at 2.5 million, Kadokawa attributes the more recent decline to the temporary suspension of international credit cards on Nico Nico. From May 2024 to February 2025, no credit card except for JBC, which is a Japanese credit card company in Japan, was available as payment options on the site, which Kadokawa thinks has driven some members away. Nico Nico has since revised the terms and action guidelines as well as effectively banned all adult content and reinstated the Visa brand credit card payment options. Despite this move, the 9-month full duration which potential premium subscriptions or subscribers could not pay using their Visa credit cards might have done irreparable damage to the streaming service. Nico Nico's current plans are to continue to implement mechanisms that will sustainably produce exclusive creators on the platform and to create opportunities for these creators to be active globally.
All this is going to push is the idea of getting Bitcoin. The more they keep pushing these things, the more they keep doing this, people are just going to go to decentralized payments. This is what this is going to end up being. And then MasterCard and all these people are not going to have no say in whatever the hell happens, and then they're going to be really fucked from that point. Just saying.
It also wants to maximize licensing revenue, specifically from original music made by Nico Nico creators. So this is a pretty short article, but it really gets straight to the point. The big point is that Kadokawa doesn't try to sugarcoat it. They directly call out payment processors. They directly call out Visa and MasterCard and everyone else involved. They directly call them out for why they have taken such a financial hit. And I'm legitimately curious if this will cause a spark in Japan, because obviously this isn't just like the West talking about this. You have an article in Japan, in Japanese, that talks about this. And obviously you have investors in Japan that are going to see something like this, and they're not going to be, like, happy. They're not going to be happy with maybe the stock getting hurt, Nico Nico being hurt. Investors don't like that. And so, when you look at this situation, I wonder if this is the spark in Japan that was needed to really get the ball moving. Obviously, in the last few months, and actually a few years, Japan's been under attack by payment processors often. I mean, one really crazy example is that they literally did this thing that they did to Nico Nico. They did it to a dating app. For those that don't know why this is really crazy, Japan is known for a declining population and an aging population. It's a very important aspect of Japan that they continuously talk about often for years now. It's one of the reasons why there's a lot of memes about it. There's one reason why there's a lot of, like, advertisement for, you know, maybe couples or people to become couples in Japan. There's a reason why it's talked about a lot even in Japanese media, for instance, like within anime or manga, is because their population is declining.
Yeah, they said that. That's why sometimes you'll see a lot of anime push a lot of, like, raunchy things, like a lot of fan service and stuff like that. A lot of, like, harems and stuff like that, because they're trying to get young boys and young girls to, like, do the devil's dance so they can have more children. But I think most of them are pushed the idea of, like, focus on their careers, and they're so focus heavy that they don't have time to, like, have, like, dates and have love and stuff like that. That's why you can overhear that one with the, what was it called? It's called overworking themselves to death. I forgot what it's called. The thing starts with a K. It's a real issue.
So when you had these payment processors, for instance like Visa and MasterCard, pull out from a dating app for nerds and otakus, it really upset Japan. And obviously after that happened,
you're not wrong. They don't have to, but then again, what can you do? Because if the boys are not pursuing the women, what can you get them to do? So what you do is you put it in the media that they're most attracted to, is anime and video games. Because if they're not doing it in conventional means, we have to do it in other means as well. So that's just how that is. Sadly, it's not I'm not saying it's the best solution, but what can you do? Unless you have a better solution, then I'm pretty sure the Japanese government will be all ears for that, because they're trying to get young people to literally have children, and they're not doing it. And that means there's more old people. If there's more old people, they can't rely on, like, I don't know if they have SSN. I don't know if they have, like, Social Security or retirement, because if they're not because if they're not having children, there's not a lot of old people that can rely on Social Security or retirement or whatever the fuck it's called. That means there's more old people working. And young people now are more with their parents than they ever was before. Like the uprising of NEETs, for instance, people who stay at home and don't like to socialize in the slightest. They have like they have the type of job that just makes enough for the bills for them to stay home, so they don't have to leave home. So they'll have someone like get food for them, whether they're their parents or they pay someone to bring food to them, groceries and stuff. They don't ever leave the house. It's a real problem, and this stems more in young boys than it is girls. That's why you probably see memes saying like young Asian women looking for men outside of their country to have children with, or something like that. To a degree, you've probably seen that somewhere down the line. It's a joke, but I don't know how serious that actually is taken. So
happened, there was enough backlash that the payment
thing about jokes, you must understand that jokes, whether it's completely true, it has some form of truth in it. Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, King Coco. Hey, it's been a while, man. How you been? Like, no matter how truthful something is, whether it's 100% true, there is some form of truth in it in a joke. That's why what makes it funny. There is some form of truth in that joke. If a joke didn't make any sense, they wouldn't laugh. Pretty good, pretty good. We're just trying to get this anime done, and then, get into the doing these reactions. I don't know if I'm gonna play video game. I'm still debating. I don't think Mike is on, so I might play video games. I don't know. Are you guys in the mood to watch me play video games at all? I gotcha. Oh yeah, school started. Are you guys into watch me play video games? If so, what game would you want me to play?
Processors instantly allow the payments back on the dating app. But the point is, it showcases the rampant abuse and control that these companies have been doing, and they're damaging a lot of different products and services within Japan. And because it's become such a well-known thing now, I think Japan is becoming more aware of it. Like, for instance, just as of late, there was a recent, a convention in Japan where people sell dojins and stuff like that. Gotcha. One of the big aspects of it was that they were fighting against censorship. You even have, Yamada Taro, which, was recently elected, that is fighting for Japan and for freedom of expression within art. He was also there as well. So the point of the matter is that Japan has been having this ball move for a while, trying to fight back against it, and I think that this might be that spark that really escalates this to a whole new level, because Kadokawa is I would say one of the biggest companies, at least in the anime sphere. It is one of the biggest companies that you can have, and this is one of the reasons why people have been very fearful of Sony buying Kadokawa out, because Kadokawa is just that massive of a corporation. It has so much under its belt that it owns. So the fact it got damaged, this is going to probably cause problems for them in Japan, like payment processors. I could see it, which, honestly, this could be good news. I mean, it's not good news that Nico Nico has been hurt. I'm not going to act like it's good news, but why this is good news is because it's going to theoretically cause Japan to push the conversation harder, to not allow this to happen. Open up antitrust law, and all that, or how payment processors are breaking antitrust and the monopolies and everything. I could see that leading towards that direction because of what's going on here. So yeah, one thing I do want to point out is that I really appreciate Rambling here for translating this. This is basically Kadokawa's breakdown of the finances and everything like that with their business. You can pause the video and read this for yourself if you want to, but appreciate Rambling for being able to translate this. I believe he did. I couldn't find it in the article here when I was looking, so
I find it funny where people keep constantly saying, oh my god, TikTok is changing and it's just being so restrictive. And this is such a problem, guys. You know how they say that, right? Now they're saying that because, after what's been going on. But why the fuck do you think if TikTok goes away, you going to the Red Note app was going to make anything better? That's a literally Chinese-controlled app, completely absolute. What do you think, or where in your head think that you can put in your mental illness nonsense into their zeitgeist in the slightest? You're not going to get away with it. You're not going to be able to say what you want. You're not going to say anything about American issues, and plus you can't speak Chinese, and majority you don't have the motivation to do such things just to post on the app. Are you mad? Go to Instagram. Go to YouTube. What the fuck? Or go to Twitter. You get way more on Twitter than you would on fucking, it makes no sense. Plus, I heard that Elon Musk is bringing Vine back, so
I'm assuming he translated it himself. But yeah, I'm gonna.
Let's see. Oh yeah, they're saying that. Meanwhile, sending corn. Yeah, right. You think you're gonna get away doing that on the Red app? I seen that in my stream, in my pictures. Some of them will put some insane shit. I'm like, how? How is that make this make sense? How is that okay? You can post that up on my comment section with a picture that is, you can see it. But for some reason, me posting the video is problematic. That's crazy. That makes no sense. And I reported that dude, and I still did, and they said it was not breaking any terms serious. Are you serious? Do you not see the picture?
I'm gonna leave it at that, though. Thank you so much for watching. Just wanted to bring this news to everyone. You can look at this as some good news on top of bad news. It's bad news, but it's good news technically, because this could cause more conversation around it. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much. You all stay safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's good news. I don't know.
This is a topic I love.
Everything artist gets wrong about character design. That's for me. Like, there was one that someone posted a picture of a girl showing her ass or something with her goodies showing or something in the comment section of my that one video I made for TikTok shop. I reported that video, that picture, because obviously, like, I'm trying to get people to buy the fucking, like, pencils. Like, I know they're memeing and I get it, but like 3 seconds should not override most of y'all brains. That's crazy. If you watch the video, it's literally 3 seconds. And majority of the characters are all the characters are actually clothed up. They're just in their swimsuits. That's it. For some weird reason, 3 seconds has override so many people, over 200,000 people, almost 200,000 people who've seen the video. And they think it's their job to constantly say, they know who you are, I know what kind of man you are. Let me see. Send that is not... Yeah, it's not a meme at that point. Like, it's not a meme. That's just disgusting at that point. Like, I understand you're trying to be funny, but like, no. Like, I'm trying to sell pencils, dude. You don't want to scare off people. And then, like, they're trying to make it children friendly, but I honestly put the report on it, and they said there was nothing wrong with this. I was like, are you serious? Yep. Let me see. Fate trigger. Oh, first reveal. Okay, there's a fate trigger. Come on.
Where calamity began, this trial shall...
This is a trailer, guys. Let me show you guys. This is the fate trigger trailer. Let me pull it up. I kind of want to get into Ark Knights, but I don't know if I should or shouldn't. I really don't know. I think Ark Knights would be kind of fun, but I'm not totally sure.
Awakeners, prepare for the final confrontation.
I wouldn't put it past them if they do or don't, but I'm pretty sure they do. Hey, bro. Pretty cool. Okay, so this is a special game trailer by Ark Knights. I don't know if I should get into it. Should I get into this game? I feel like it could be a special game I can get into. I feel like it's a strategy type game. I know there's a mobile one, and it's technically strategy, but like, I don't know. I really don't know if I should or shouldn't. I feel like I would like it, but then again, I feel like I would probably not like it. I'm not sure.
The automated industry complex will be the link, connecting and uniting every fragment of this shattered world. This is the driving force that will keep us going. Continuous improvement is essential for keeping pace with advancements in technology.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Enfield. We don't simply talk about our dreams. We do what we can to make them a reality. All operators accounted for. The team is ready for the mission.
looks nice. It looks nice. I don't think it looks that bad. It looks kind of cool. Is it for PC? Wait, let me see. Let me jump that. Is it for PC? Will it be on Steam? Oh no, let me look at it. It's for Windows. But I don't see it on Steam. Or the Epic Store. So I'm not totally sure. I don't know. What? Are you serious? Hold on, let me see. We got 2 more videos and no. We have 2 more videos and we'll stop from this point. Hold on. Is that what I'm saying is true? Hold up.
I've been conflicted.
Like here, no, not this one.
Trying to arrest
Is this real?
anybody who says negative shit.
Hello. No, I don't. I never got into Subnautica 1. I don't see myself playing a game like that. I kind of look at those games kind of like Minecraft to a degree. It just never really appealed to me. It appeals to my sister. She loves that game, but I just all that after a while it gets kind of repetitive really fast for me. All that getting resources, coming back, doing any form of crafting, do the same thing over and over again. I know that saying that is kind of like pointless to say, because if you play like Call of Duty or something, you're kind of doing like every game is repetitive eventually one way or another, but like it just never ever and I mean ever appealed to me in the slightest.
What if I told you that you can now get arrested because of this AI age verification and online safety act? You see, YouTube just released their AI age estimation feature in the United States, and the online safety just got passed in the UK and Australia. And the group behind it is trying to get defaulters arrested. Let me explain. But first, do please like and subscribe. Liking and subscribing helps spread the word and tells YouTube to remove this feature. If you've subscribed, I love you, thanks. So for those that do not know, YouTube just released their AI age verification. And not only that, the Online Safety Act just got passed. So for those who don't know, the Online Safety Act is practically what is responsible for YouTube's AI age verification. And it's getting passed in countries like the UK and in Australia, and also very soon, it'll enter the entire internet. So the Online Safety Act is a new set of laws that protect children and adults online. It puts a range of duties on social media companies and such services, making them responsible for their user safety. Now they are doing this, or they're trying to use the claim that they're protecting children in order for them to gain control of not only what you can access online, but also to track down every single thing that you post online, like something like this. It says, "This is about harmful content to the children." And it says, Ofcom published its guidance about use of age assurance to prevent children from accessing online adult sites. So essentially, these are new laws that are forcing certain websites to get people to either submit their ID, their credit card, or submit their facial verification video in order for them to prove that they are actually 18, like we have seen in the whole YouTube AI saga, whereby everyone is currently disagreeing with them. Now, do you know what this Online Safety Act implies, or what they're trying to do? I mean the people behind this Online Safety Act, which is this
He's chill for that. And this is why I said the AI should have never been given to the public. It should have been just for military use. That's it. That's it.
Company called Collective Shout. They are essentially the people, or the reason, more or less, for the recent implementation of this Online Safety Act. So this is the company, or rather the group, that is responsible for literally every single censorship you're seeing online now. But the YouTube AI age verification...
You!
Well, this one is not necessarily directly, but it still counts. They are the ones that are joining up and running campaigns. As you can see, they're trying to get people to verify their age online, meaning that you will be entirely tracked online. Every single type of content that you post would be linked to your ID or your credit card. And we all know what happens when you put in a lot of your personal info in the hands of all these big sites, and there just happens to be a data leak. And at this point, data leaks are almost everywhere. Now, they're a group, I think, mostly based in Australia. They were able to get or
No, I'm old-fashioned.
to set a minimum age requirement for social media access, which is 16 over there in Australia. And the way they started is they tried to contact Steam and how to get them to de-index some games. However, Steam and other online marketplaces like itch.io and Valve ignored them. So they went after the credit card companies, and they practically forced the credit card companies to get itch.io and Steam to de-index a whole lot of games. And now all of a sudden there's mass censorship. And now their goal, their current goal, is to make sure that all those that try to bend the rules would get arrested. So imagine this. You're a gamer and you're playing your favorite game. And all of a sudden the police knock at your door and they arrest you for playing a certain type of game. I don't know for you, but this is just messed up and it needs to stop. And now the group, which is Collective Shout, have been caught sending out emails labeling anyone daring to question their authoritarian approach as enemies.
Oh, shit.
And that doesn't sound like what a victim would say. So this is it. So they say, over the last 2 weeks, we have been subjected to the largest coordinated cyber attack in our country in history. Our team has been hit with a daily barrage of vile abuse and harassment. So they're saying now that their enemies are trying to destroy their operating systems. They've gone after our global allies, charitable partners, ambassadors, and other backers. They've tried to get social media platforms to shut us down, but we won't let them. So this is their official page, and currently it's protected because obviously they're getting a whole, and I mean a whole lot of backlash for what they did. So this was the official letter that they sent out on Twitter.
Oh, hey, Ken,
when they
didn't see you
said,
there.
Today, alongside some of our global partners, we have sent an open letter to the executives of 7 credit card companies. Essentially, since they couldn't get companies like Steam and itch.io, since they were ignored, they went after the credit card companies. 7 of them, the major ones being Skrill, Discover Network, MasterCard, Visa, PayPal, PaySafeCard, and JCB. So they went after the major ones. I don't think you can find anyone as big as these credit card companies anywhere else. So they went after all these major credit card companies, and they practically forced them to de-index a lot of their games. And now this group wants gamers arrested for harassment, demanding international government cooperation. So what they're trying to do currently is to work with Interpol, which is like a large network of every single local police in every country. And that's what they're trying to do. So yeah, that is it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more documentaries and more updates on this current mess.
Okay, we'll do this last one. I don't know if I'm gonna play a video game. It's 7:49. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. It says here $300,000 in debt. How art schools are scamming you. Kind of want to hear this. I think anyone will want to hear this. I ain't make this into the video thing. So let's see.
On how to make this video for a long time. After all, I went to art school 3 times. And I'll get into that later in the video, as I know
3
that sounds really
times.
odd. I'm assuming you read the title of the video and that's why you're here. And perhaps you're thinking about attending art school. And I want to discuss why this could either be extremely detrimental to your art career or extremely helpful depending on who you are and where you are in your art journey. And as somebody who has spent an obscene amount of time at art institutions, I can tell you wholeheartedly that there was a lot of value gained by pursuing my art degree. So I don't want to just come out and say you should never go to art school. However, the goal for most people pursuing their art degree is to get a job within the art industry. At least in the United States, and structurally how our accreditation program works, an art degree serves no value in that goal. Is there other benefits to going to art school? Absolutely. The biggest asset I gained from art school was my colleagues and peers that I met as students while attending, not the classes that I took. And this can be very different depending who you are. I have definitely seen fellow students who were very competitive and very closed off to their fellow students and struggled to make connections once they were finally in the art world. I saw fellow students who were just laser focused on making sure that they got a good grade in every class that they had and ignored other extracurriculars, like when we would have recruiters or lectures to the campus. And many of these straight A students did not get jobs. And I can tell you that I was not anywhere near a straight A.
Let's just be honest. Usually what I usually hear is usually how you get a job in the art world is a recommendation by someone else. I'm not saying you can't get on your own laurels or your portfolio, but in most cases you hear a lot of stories of like, oh, I know a friend who can do this and I recommend that friend to this studio because I'm friends with that person, or I even work there and I recommended my friend from art school from this. They always get, it's more like recommendations are probably your saving grace 9 times out of 10. So building, I think literally, and I said this before, art school is good for like networking. If you're good at networking, and keeping your deadlines on check, you pretty much beat art school at that point. If you can juggle between doing these deadlines and holding friendships, you beat art school already. Because if you can hold good friendships with people and you're genuinely a nice person and people like working with you and you know how to work in a team setting, or just in general know how to just hold conversation with people and not scare them off or come off as a total asshat, oh my god, you pretty much just won most of the game. That's 50% of the whole like shtick on that. And then if you're good at what you do, depending on what you specialize in, oh my god, you just guaranteed yourself a job pretty much, because a friend who really likes you will say like, oh, I can't do this, but my one friend from X, Y, and Z can do this. I recommend them. They're really good at what they do. They're very good in a team setting. They're very nice, X, Y, and Z. And then that usually what gets your foot in the door because of someone else.
A student. I had little trouble ignoring assignments that brought zero prospects to my career goals or that didn't help build out my portfolio for the jobs that I was specifically seeking. I have never heard of any art job ever requiring a degree or even checking them. And so many art industries are so specialized that the majority of art programs really are not designed to get you hired in many of these fields. And even the institutions that understand that have enormous difficulties staffing those positions of people who are qualified to teach you for these types of specializations. I would say there's probably about 3 or 4 institutions in the United States that have programs that have any thought put into how the industry actually works. And I would say it's far less than that that are actually successful in helping students get an art industry job immediately after college. If your goal, like mine, was to pull yourself out of poverty through art, our college is a silly way to do that, especially today with how good the resources online are from actual working professionals in whatever field you want, in the exact specialization that you want. Maybe you'll have one class in our college that is very specifically for the thing that you want to do, maybe, and maybe you'll like that teacher, and maybe your art skills will level up, but you certainly will be in a lot more debt than you were before for something you could have done more efficiently at home. If an enormous amount of resources are not going into the career services at your college, that's a red flag. If recruiters are not actively coming to your school and presenting, that's a red flag. If your school doesn't have faculty that are currently working in the art industry as we speak, that's a red flag. Without all of these things and more, your college is failing at the fundamental reason that it exists, to prepare you and help the majority of your college locate a job upon graduation.
That's not even it. I think the biggest red flag of amongst those 3 red flags he mentioned is when they allow AI into the curriculum. That's where that comes in, very problematic for me. That's where that comes in problematic almost instantly. I think that's a major red flag when they allow AI into their curriculum. It just defeats the whole purpose of you going to school. And some schools are already doing that. That shit is fucking dumb.
Now that being said, almost every institution fails to compete with the online resources that are available today. So even if your school is doing all of these things, if you are just a little proactive, I find it hard to justify the tuition at most of these institutions. And now, if you rich as hell, if you got a boatload of money, I mean, have a great time. But for those who are seeking a job and need the paycheck,
I said that
if
if you are fucking rich, if your parents are super loaded and they have money to spend, right? Telling you how to be a prompter, how to write a sentence. You're back in English. You're interactive English school. Or interactive English class, that's what that is. You're wasting your time.
Goal of going to college, after all. Why bother? The only thing that most of these institutions are achieving is keeping their staff and faculty employed. And now I'm sure putting food on the table for these individuals is very important. But at the end of the day, that is not why degree programs exist, or it shouldn't be. If the sole reason for your institution existing is to perpetuate the livelihood of those running that institution, it's not paving anything forward. It's not doing anything for its students. And this is a major issue within higher education these days, and not just the art industry, but in many fields. The ultimate goal, after all, was to prepare you, the student, to enter the workforce. The percentage of students who get a job in the art field upon graduation is in the single digits nationally. And now this isn't art jobs. The art industry is vast. Illustration, publishing, advertising, design, architecture, entertainment, animation, rigging, lighting, game design, concept art, background art. One of the most lucrative and large industries in the United States. Yes, there are issues within the art market currently, but even more reason that these schools need to prepare you properly for what the art industry actually looks like. Sitting there for 4 years in a row doing figure drawing classes will not get you a job. Spending a third of your time doing liberal arts classes will not get you a job. Getting a bachelor's degree will not get you a job. Being the most talented student in your class will not get you a job. Understanding the pipeline, understanding what is needed in these positions, how studios function. Technical skill is important, but how to implement it properly in your specialization within your chosen field is far more important and far more useful to studios and recruiters, and far more useful to you even if you want to go the independent route. Understanding the field and specialization that you want to go into is the most important thing.
What the fuck is happening?
I learned this way too deep into like my art education that like most illustration programs are just like cash grabs because there's so many people who like want to take like illustration as a major. The actual rate of people getting jobs from
that actually depends what game or I don't know what game company is needing femboys.
Illustration programs is
or
like
studio.
Nationally like 4% or something.
4?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's single digits for sure. Schools that have programs that are more specific is typically, I mean, higher education is questionable these days, especially in the art field altogether. Yeah. But that's a different conversation.
I'm not sure if he will pass or fail this art class.
But typically, if you have like motion design, game art or something, it normally means that it's normally a green flag for the program.
Well, it's funny you even saying this because my school was the Art Institute and it got sued for fraud and it lost. So like all the accreditation, their big selling point for kids that wanted to come to the school was they had 94% job placement. I think I told you this before, but to those listening, what they didn't tell you is that 94% included, so like for my major, it included the Best Buy Geek Squad, the GameStop, and the Target Electronic departments. Like, ridiculous.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah. And to throw 100K debt on like a 21-year-old coming out of school being like, well, they told me I was going to get a job. I just feel like, come on. They're literally ripping, or they're scamming young people. It just feels so bad on like every level.
It's predatory, and it's
Yes.
like low-grade grooming.
Yeah.
At least for our generation, or my generation, is like, you... I don't know. I mean, you had to go to college, or you were like a shitbag. You know what I mean? Like, you were expected to go to college, and it, like, regardless of what you did, like trade schools when I was coming up were like kind of looked down on, and it's like art should have never been a degreed program to begin with. It should have always been a trade program.
Yeah, it should have been a trade. I'm not kidding. I honestly believe that art should be more of a trade. It should be an academic trade. It should be, if anything, extracurricular, but it should not be a mandatory thing. It should not be... I know that sounds crazy for me saying that, but like when you really think of it, it really does not put... There's like, you not learning how to draw a line does not stop you from eating. You know what I'm saying? But it does stop you from eating if you don't know how to read. It does stop you from eating if you don't know how to do basic maths. It does stop you from from eating when you don't know how to, like, you know, function in the sense of learning how to work in a team setting one way or another, working with others, or so. And I'm saying, like, I get it. Art is fun. Art is expressive. Art can really, like, open your mind to creativity. But as sad as it sounds, creativity does not really help you survive life. You just need to you just need to know how to do basic things just to survive. No one has to go to college to learn to be a janitor.
Program, but like that's just not how art education developed in the States.
I remember because I went to a private high school, and they were pushing for my brother to go to college so bad because they hated that he wanted to go to a trade school and be a carpenter, where it looked better for the high school's statistics to have more kids go into like career-based field.
What like is the career of illustration anyways? Like that's
in the American education system for every kid to learn one trade from middle school all the way to high school. So you have a trade that you can fall on. So even if you choose to go to art school or tech school or whatever type of school you go to, you have something to fall back on. You don't have to worry about, oh, I'll just work at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have, like, I think that's a mandatory thing that should be taught on all children. You have to pick at least one trade, and learn that trade, and understand that trade. I think that's mandatory, and you must learn it and take it with you throughout your middle school. It should start in middle school all the way to you graduating high school. And I think that should be a mandatory thing. So you don't always have to fall upon, oh, if I don't go to college, I'll just have to figure it out. So I think that makes sense.
Such a general term. That's like the same as saying, like, I want an art degree. Like, there's so many fields within art or illustration. And like generalists, typically, like, they can be good in like a subcategory. Like if you're a generalist in like animation, like maybe that's good for you depending on the studio work you want to do. But like a generalist in art, like, okay, so you learned how to crochet and you're a watercolor painter and you learned how to rig animation. Like what are we talking about?
Yeah. And I don't know if this happened with your school, but most kids that went to my school just wanted to be like a character designer. It's like, you think they're gonna hire a 21-year-old fresh out of college to be like the lead game designer at Naughty Dog or Square Enix?
Well, here's the thing: is maybe if they were trained to do that thing, but none of these programs train them properly. So like, you get people who like, again, all their assignments was for an illustration program, so it's all like generalized. So like they don't even have, even if they had the skill sets where like Square Enix or whoever would be like impressed, their portfolio doesn't reflect that because they're like, what is this like random watercolor or this random figure drawing? You know what I mean? So like
okay, so for you to get hired at these places, you need to specialize in at least one thing or one or two things. And for this to work, you're not gonna take a bunch of drawings of cars and go to somewhere like Square Enix and show them a bunch of pictures of cars. You're not gonna do that because they're not gonna take you, because they might be impressed by your car work, but they're gonna look at you like, you do know we do like specialize in Japanese, like almost Japanese Western type games, adventure, RPG, JRPG stuff, right? We don't really do a lot driving. You know that, right? Like, we don't even do open world shit like that. So, like, we might need you for, like, an open world for, like, designing some cars for us. But, like, again, we don't do a lot of open worlds. Maybe you should go to Ubisoft or one of the racing studios that does, like, why are you here? You look like an idiot. Like, why would you do that? Why would you bring a bunch of like Nordic type artwork, very good, very rendered work, and take it to a sports like FIFA or like to EA in their sports division and trying to get in their sports division while you show them a bunch of Nordic mystical creature type shit? No one gives a fuck, man. Like, that's great. You're very talented, but why the fuck are you here? They're gonna look at you crazy, like, why are you here? They might even recommend you to the studios that might be looking for that, but they're just gonna look at you like a moron. Like, don't do that. Like, if you're good at drawing, I guess, anime girls, and you draw them whether really sexy or you like drawing girls in general or what the case may be, and you really specialize at rendering and all that stuff, and you have a portfolio and it looks really good, I would go to like mobile studios who are looking for that, because usually that's like anime like games, mini games, JRPGs, RPGs. I would even go to studios that are more indie, look up their Twitter, look up their social media, send a message to them. It would be cool. That would be cool, not gonna lie. But then again, someone has to be making said game, and that's so specific that it'll virtually be impossible just to get hired for that one thing. So that depends.
They're not even being prepared to make proper portfolios for the jobs that are available. Sometimes it's not even about skill, or like, it's just about like the school literally doesn't understand the field itself. In most cases, you're going to have to do a lot of additional work outside of college to achieve any art industry goals. In understanding what those goals...
I bet she's going to say marketing. You need to know how to market yourself. I bet she's going to mention that.
Exactly. Early on is going to give you a huge leg up. Knowing the exact specialization, the industry that you want to go into, how you need to curate your portfolio, what industry professionals' portfolios look like currently. Understand that your classmates are not the people that you're competing with, but working professionals. How to get your work at the same level as those working in the industry currently or better, and understand all the other additional things that job might entail. And then having a plan A, B, and C. If you want to be a character designer like 80% of art students want to be, understand that this field is extremely competitive, and there's probably easier avenues to enter the art industry and then work your way up to there, despite what studios might say is an entry-level position or not. Entry-level for their studio does not mean right out of college, you're good to go.
Did you have a lot of teachers that seemed like they couldn't make it in the industry, so then they were left teaching?
So I went to two art schools. my first one like lost their accreditation, and that's kind of when I realized shit was like real bad. So then I went to Ringling, which was a much better school. At Ringling, it was more like people who had been like really well known, like illustrators or like whatever 20 years ago, and they hadn't worked presently. At the first college, it was more that where they just like, there was a lot of people who felt like they couldn't make it, so they became professors. So, which are two different issues, but cause the same result for students, which is just being unprepared for the actual market today, or how to like make a living.
Oh no, I'm sure you get this too, where you just see like your old colleagues and they still haven't made it in the industry, and I just keep thinking, man, these schools let these 18-year-olds take out $100,000 in a loan to get jobs that they knew they probably wouldn't get.
Oh.
I hate it.
So, I've told you about my level of debt, right?
Yeah.
So here, I'll give the short version. So the reason I went to two schools was, so I went to the first school, they lost their accreditation, blah, 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 blah. I clearly was not prepared to I wanted to go into concept art, and I would very quickly realized that I was not prepared. While I was there, freshman, sophomore, I was like, well, if I out art my fellow classmates, that means I'm gonna get a job, right? That's not how it works.
The best.
Yeah, if I'm the best, if I'm the very best and I catch them all, once, that school fell through and I realized that I was not prepared and didn't really understand the pipeline or how to even approach getting a job in concept art, I was kind of shit out of luck. The internet resources were not as good at the time. They're much better now, which I wish back then. But my loans were gonna come due in 6 months, and the only I wasn't gonna get a job in my field, or was unable. I was applying to stuff, but I did not understand how to make a portfolio in the way it needed to be. So the only way to push off my loans was to go back to school. So even though I didn't want to accrue more debt, it wasn't like I was able to afford the debt I had already. So it was more debt or something I was going to be defaulting on anyways. So I went back to school.
Well, is that why you went back to school?
Yeah, initially. It was mostly just it was hopefully I get the education I want but the primary reason was to push off my loans because I couldn't pay them.
Oh.
And I didn't want to default on them. Because if you're in school, your loans are on pause or whatever. So yeah. So with everything, I took out, it was probably 100, it was probably 80 grand for the first school after everything was said and done before interest. And then Ringling I probably took out,
I'm not gonna lie to you, if I pull out 80,000 and then I had to leave said school because it lost its accreditation, I would not go back to art school. I would just go back to school, but not for art. I'll go for tech or something that is a guaranteed win. Can't go to medical field because you're gonna be really screwed after that. Even after if you get the degree, you're gonna be so fucked. So I'd rather just go to a tech school or a technical school or something. Oh my god, that's not a good idea. That is horrible.
At about 50,000, and then halfway through I started doing cons and started paying for it out of pocket, so it wasn't even the full time. And then simultaneously I got my master's because I was like, okay, plan fucking 3, I'm gonna teach because that's what you do, and you needed masters to teach, which was another 50 grand.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn?
So my base loans that I took out,
oh my god, the crash house real
was probably 180, and with interest after when I started actually able to pay for them, it was over $300,000. And this is not a good thing. This is I don't suggest ever doing this, but there's a lot of people who went back to school because they couldn't pay their loans. This is not an uncommon situation
oh my god.
in the States.
That's crazy to me, but I understand why, but yeah, that's crazy.
And there's I met other people who was doing this. I'm able to pay my debt now. I'm able to make my payments. I paid over 60,000 last year or whatever. And then, or no, it was before the SAVE program, which is another political thing I won't get into, because all student loans right now are on pause because of political things. But the year before they were on pause, I paid 60,000 that year. I still had not hit the base of my loan. Imagine giving 60 grand in a year and not touching your base principal of your loan. And my loans never deferred.
I don't even have words.
Like, they never deferred. They were always on time. Like, I always managed, like, so this wasn't like I ignored them for like 10 years and then was like, oh, all this interest accrued because I wasn't paying them. Like, that's 60 grand of me being on time.
I'm sure you've thought about this before, like how angry it might get you thinking there's kids going through that like right now, like the same exact situation.
Oh, it's crazy to me. To be fair, in art, at least, the online resources are so good now that, like, if you're motivated enough, you don't need to go to art school. I'm not saying it doesn't help. Like, there is still benefits to, like, certain art programs, but they're more networking and, like, building a community than they are, like, the actual... I mean, because those issues with, like, illustration programs still exist and have not specialized. I mean, like, that's still a thing. So I'm forever in debt because I signed a predatory loan when I was 17. I know a lot of the art institutes got dismissed because
and that's why and I hate this with these type of parents who have children, and this is why I blame parents, because there are some parents who actually believe in their head it's once like a kid, like they can have a kid that's 17 or 16. Let's say they're 17. And the 17-year-old does something really stupid, right? But he's still considered a kid, and he gets a slap on the wrist, right? Once that 17-year-old becomes 18, the 1-8, they all of a sudden think the 17-year-old can figure it out on their own once they're legally an adult. That is the most dumbest thing a parent can ever do to their kids. Like, they're the same 17-year-old who just turned slightly higher. They're no more smarter than they were 17. Why would you put them in predicaments or say to them, "You're an adult now, you gotta figure it out"? Like, you're a fucking idiot. You was never meant to be a parent. Like, I hate when parents do that. Those type of parents, those are the type of parents who had children very young, was not ready, and then when the kid finally hits 1-8, they start kicking them out or putting them on some type of time limit of how long they can stay there. Those are the parents who was not meant to be kids in the first place. They just was forced to be one way or another under circumstances that they didn't want to off a kid or some shit like that, whether it's from societal pressure, religious pressure, or whatever issue it may be. Those are the ones who are not meant to be no fucking parent. You can't tell me. Because just because your kid turned 18 doesn't mean they're any more wiser than they was at 17. If anything, you should be more on them now if they're 18. Because now, legally, the world sees them as an adult. But you know your kid. You know your kid. And you know how capable your kid is and how stupid they truly are. Based on what you know about them. So it's your job as a parent to not only guide them, but make sure that they're walking on the path that doesn't put them in a harm's way or making very drastic decisions because they can sign a paper now without your consent. At that point, you're an advisor. You're not even the parent anymore. You're their advisor. You're supposed to advise them, guide them. Don't just, "Oh, you're 17 now. I don't know what to do. You figure it out." I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. If anything, you want this to happen to your kids so they can fall in the same problems you do. And what's irony? The irony is that if that kid ends up having kids very young, very soon, quicker than they should, and they're not financially ready, what's going to happen? You're going to be twice as more of a failure as a parent, because what's going to happen if they have children they're not ready to have? Guess what they're going to do? They're going to drop those kids off to you, because you're the only best option other than themselves. Then you're going to take care of a kid that was not even meant to be there yet in the first place. See how he said at 17 he signed a predatory loan? Did he have any guidance in the slightest of who told him this? That was not a good idea to look or make his research? It probably didn't. He probably had the type of parents who just said, "Well, you're 17 now, or whatever legal age you are to sign anything. You're a parent. You're adult now, so you gotta figure it out." I was 17. I knew things. I had to figure it out on my own. You know how hard it was at 17, whatever age in the 80s or the 70s you was at, to figure things out on your own. There was no internet or shit like that. You know this internet, and you have better experience. You should say something to your kid before they make some drastic choice, like going into the military, not really understanding what that entails. The fuck is wrong with you? You're a horrible parent if you do this shit to anyone. That is evil. And you know it. They know it. And we all know a parent I'm referring to. You know what I'm talking about.
They were very clearly scammy. But then, like, they still were given accreditation by, like, the government. AI, not in the fact, like, not artificial intelligence, but Art Institute. Ironic name now, but, yeah, that's the problem is, like, my first school that I went to was the Art Institute of New Hampshire or something, or New Hampshire Institute of Art, but it wasn't actually an AI school. It just shared a name, and it was kind of just as shitty, but they didn't get flagged with the rest of them because they weren't part of the same corporation. So ours never was dismissed. My school, like, a bunch of people actually went to court after that school got disbanded, and they lost.
The school or your friends?
Like the fellow students who went to try to, like, argue their funds back. Yeah, 11 trillion in profit. Yeah, the problem with the New Hampshire one is it technically wasn't a school for profit. The problem is that it was just like a bunch of the leadership embezzling the money successfully, apparently, where the AI schools were officially on the books for profit, and that makes a big difference in the courts. Is like, honestly, if you ever go to a private school and it's for profit, it's a huge red flag. Because for one, like, you can easily make, like, profits disappear in a business just by putting them into people's, like, salaries. So one, they're already, like, bad at business by, like, not hiding their profits properly, and two, like, why, like, higher education just should never be for profit. Like, you should just not be allowed to have accreditation if you're a for-profit school. It just makes no sense.
Actually, yeah, why would a school be for?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, no, that doesn't make.
I mean, they're all technically they're all for profit, not technically, but if they're not even, like, smart enough to set up their, like, endowments or whatever to make it look like they're non-for-profit, then, like, already there's people behind the scenes who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, because my parents helped me pay my AI loan because I went to Art Institute of Schaumburg. It was paid off before any of this controversy went down. So, whenever I see my parents, I always apologize to them. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I feel like I wasted your money because we were promised, grandeur, what the school told us they would, and because my parents are not art literate at all, they're like, oh, okay, good. Here's our weird art kid that we want to send to a school.
Here's our weird art kid.
We'll have, like, a job promise after.
That's the funny. Here's our weird art kid. That's one way to sum up a kid. Like, Jesus Christ.
Afterwards.
Well, I mean, that's not, like, your fault or anything. I mean, that's them, like, grooming, like, 17-year-olds who want to be an artist, right? Like, yeah. My bigger issue is that these, like, official government accreditation companies accredited these schools. They're the ones who should, like, make sure that the school is, like, legit, right? But what's the issue? Why are these institutions failing their students? And so drastically within the art world? Well, first off, let's look at the accreditation and the standards that they set for art colleges within the United States specifically. And again, I think art degrees should have been a trade school all along, but, like, if you're gonna go down the route where you accredited these schools, like, yeah, the school's a scam, so, like, shame on the scammer, but also shame on, like, the government for not doing their due diligence to actually understand the art industry and make sure that their guidelines for accreditation made sense with the industry that you're trying to get into. Art accreditation organizations like NASAD are fundamentally flawed, as they don't understand the current art industry and what they require for their accredited institutions or colleges or universities, depending where you're at, doesn't always make a lot of sense. Essentially, the accreditation organization requires certain colleges that want accreditation through them to be reputable, for their degrees to be official and not just some piece of paper that a rando printed out and handed you, like some for-profit institutions. They have to be accredited. But the art industry is a bit misunderstood on the the academic end of things. NASAD, like other accreditations, require certain number of classes in certain types of categories, but these are very generalized. To get a bachelor's in fine art, you have to receive a math credit, you have to receive a certain number of English credits, you have to receive a certain number of history credits. And now being literate is great and all, but one could argue you probably should have already learned many of these things in high school before you even came to this school. Why are you paying $50,000 a year to learn basic math? And
Hey,
how
good
to enter
question.
your chosen field.
That's a
But if
good
it's
fucking
worse,
question.
these generalization.
That's a good fucking question. Why am I redoing everything I did in high school just to get a degree? That's dumb. Isn't that what the diploma's for? Ain't that what the diploma's for? I'm just saying.
Spread even into your major's degree most of the time. Art equals drawing good, right? These accreditations require a certain number of drawing classes, and many of these are extremely generalized, or at least the schools are only required to have very generalized versions of these. Figure drawing 1, 2, 3, things like that, which can be great skills that you could learn at home, but don't necessarily help you in specializations like motion design, animation, or certain programming. And the result is the majority of art programs that are fully accredited within the United States have very basic and generalized art programs that don't focus on any specific part of the art industry. And yes, maybe you will get the holy grail of art teachers, and that's great. But that's the luck of the draw. That's not the requirement for the institution to be fully accredited. And here lies the issue. If the schools aren't required to meet proper standards for the industry that you are seeking, then you are left with degrees that are virtually worthless. Pursuing art can be an extremely lucrative path. Being an artist is definitely a real job. A very hard, challenging, and skillful one. But there is also merit when people say art degrees have little value. And this is the source of that issue. And don't get me wrong, I am incredibly grateful for some astounding professors that I had that helped me out tremendously. But that was luck. If I wanted to waste money on gacha, this is not my preferred method.
It took me like a semester and a half to realize, oh, I don't think these teachers are very good. You know, like, it hit me pretty quick. I was like, oh, I don't think they actually have experience in the field and know what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's hard because it's like, if you're an industry professional, why would you teach? Like, they don't get paid enough. Like, if you can work in the industry, you're going to make way more money than you can even in like a full-time professor position. So there's like a huge disconnect there. And there are some great teachers that do teach because
why
they
do you
love
think
teaching. But
why do you think majority of all the professionals like what do you call it? Ross draws, Sam does art, Marco Bucci, or like Mark Bennett. Why do you think all of them left their jobs at Blizzard to go and pursue a singles type job where they can just teach from Patreon and stuff? Why do you think that? Because they already have the know-how, right? They already have the skills, right? And then all they don't need to go and know. This is why I see it when all y'all say, "Oh, AI is gonna take all the jobs and this and that." I'm like, fuck AI. Remember, AI is made for people who don't know how to be creative. They don't know how to draw, and they usually don't know how to be creative. It's usually both of two. Right? So what'll happen is people who are creative and very technically skilled, whether they use AI or not, will be much more of a threat than someone who's don't know how to draw, don't know how to be creative, don't know how to write, and just expect for it to work. You have more of an advantage than you think. You're just selling yourself short because Cartoon Network or HBO or Netflix didn't hire you. Like, fuck them.
economically, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Like, I don't know about you. I always saw myself as I get, like, in my later years in life, like, I'll probably go teach somewhere. Like, it's like a gift that you can give back if you can't create as much physically anymore.
Sure. But I think, like, you know, that almost becomes, in a way, I think a lot of people have that same, like, thought process. But, like, after so many years, you become more and more disconnected from the industry and understanding how to, like, enter it. So, like, maybe initially it's great and you're giving back, but it almost becomes like a disservice to the students if you're not like keeping up with those things. And like some people do, but not everybody does.
Actually, you're very right on that. Because we had one teacher, he was like 67, like clearly has not been in the game industry for a while, and there's no reason he should be teaching animation in the way that he was teaching it, because it was such an old way of animating.
If you need to go $100,000+ in debt to go to art school, this is a handicap. If you have the immense work ethic to overcome this, if you're going to take 3 jobs just to get through art school, to get your degree, to hopefully get into the art industry, you already have an incredible work ethic that will make you succeed whether you go there or not. And that saddens me to say, as the wealth gap is ever increasing in the United States, and I so wish that college could be something that pulls people out of poverty and is this thing that actually works. But that is becoming farther from the truth. And there is no doubt that art school has value, but you can gain those skills and that knowledge other places for a lot less money without handicapping yourself with an immense amount of debt. And unlike 10 years ago, the amount of resources that are out there that are either low cost or free are immense. Go look at your favorite artists. Are they teaching a class? Do they know somebody who's teaching a class? What classes did they take? And even if these are paid classes, I assure you they are vastly cheaper than a degree program. And although I could fill the description of this video with thousands of resources out there, the art market is so specialized that I want to encourage you guys to actually do some research and figure out what your goals are. Do you want to be a storyboard artist? Do you want to be an illustrator? Do you want to be an animator? Do you want to sell your work at conventions? Do you want to teach? What is the type of work that you want to do that brings you joy? Figure out who's doing that thing, or as close as possible. Figure out how they got there, the resources they use or they offer, and there's your starting point. Information is so accessible these days. This type of information is no longer gatekept behind degree programs. And I wish you the best of luck.
Okay, we're pretty much done. Alright guys, I'm gonna let you go. Have a great night and all great stuff. I was gonna play a game, but it's already 8:30. No one wants to play that. It's a fucking Tuesday. I might do that if I'm on tomorrow. I don't think I'll be on tomorrow. I think I'll be at work. So if I'll help my family. So like if I'm not playing game tomorrow, if I'm not working with my family tomorrow, I'll be probably playing, we'll do a little bit of, or finishing up a little more of the animatic, and then we'll play video games. I'll try to get on really, really, really early. Maybe super, super, super early, like early enough, like in the morning, just to get the animatic and get the VTubing model done, and then after that, we'll just get straight into gaming. I don't know what we're gonna play. I think we're all kind of tired of Fate Trigger. I'm not totally sure. If I were to play game, we might drop back to Zenless. Maybe. If Mike's not busy, we'll play Peak, but if not, we'll play probably something else. I'm just kind of like, and I'm kind of getting tired of TikTok's bullshit, so I'm probably not gonna even do artwork on TikTok anymore. I might just play video games. I might just do artwork on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and Kick, and that's it. I don't think I'll do art on TikTok anymore, streaming it, but I'll never stream game on TikTok if possible. So with that said, have a great night. I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep safe. Thank you guys. Thank you, Bri. I appreciate you, dude, and everyone else that came in and said hi. And also for last night when I was working on the concept art I was working on last night, for those who was on last night, and stuff like that. So we worked on last night this character I was working on with this cool move and stuff like that. And other things we did that one night, and I was working on this mechanical, this engineer-like cat girl thing. I don't know what I was doing. I was just kind of just building on something, and it was just coming to mind as I was going. So anyway, have a great night, keep safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright.